The views, information, or opinions expressed during the Geeks Under the Influence podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of RVA Magazine, Loot Crate, amzn.to, or their employees. Listener discretion is advised. Fuck off if you don't like it.
I gotta give it up for our sponsors, amzn.com. Most of the stuff that we use to record this fantastic podcast were gotten through amzn.com. Just go to gypodcast.com and click on the Amazon affiliate link right on the homepage. And anything that you purchase through that link, we get a little bit of a cut. So it's a way for you to buy all the stuff you were going to buy anyway on Amazon and support your favorite podcast at the same time. Go through the link, and then once you get through, bookmark Amazon through that link. That way you can go through every single time without even thinking about it. So help us out, help yourself by shopping Amazon through the link at gypodcast.com. If you love this podcast and you love cool shit to put on your shelf, then I've got just the thing for you. Loot Crate. Month February is billed with stuff from Tetris, Power Rangers, Lego Dimensions, and Batman. Just by going to gypodcast.com and clicking under our sponsors page, the link to Loot Crate. If you go through that link, we get a little bit of a cut from it as well. If you want to save $3 on your first crate, then type in SAVE3 under the promo code. And that's about it. Join the conversation. Hit us up on Twitter at GYPodcastRVA or Facebook. Just look up Geeks Under the Influence. Instagram, Geeks Under the Influence, all one word. Or just go to GYPodcast.com. It's got all our links there. Now on to the episode.
Geeks Under the Influence.
Every time, and I can identify with that, man. That's why I don't use pencil eyeliner.
You can't trust it.
I'll take your word for it.
Because, yeah, every single eyebrow pencils, eyeliner, pencil, gotta sharpen it every time.
No.
Every time.
Every time.
Liquid or gel or get the fuck out.
You know what you need to do is get one of those old school pencil sharpeners that you can just screw into
Like the
the
giant
wall,
wall.
and you just grind the
They
fuck
don't
out
make
of
those
it.
anymore.
I have one at work.
I wandered around my office
still got
forever
one.
looking for one. You assume that there's going to be
A thrift store
one.
has got to have one.
But no, at work, like in an office, like in a school setting, an office setting, you assume there's going to be some pencil sharpener mounted somewhere. There's none at my work.
You always
Wow.
expect there to be a wall mount, and there never is.
What are you supposed to do
Oh,
when
pencil
you need to
sharpener,
fill in
sorry.
your pencil mustache? Like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, this is why the education system is going downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you
That's
do?
why I hate my job. Can't
They
take
probably
care of my
don't even
mustache.
use pencils anymore in schools.
No, everybody has their laptops or tablets now.
That's true.
Yeah,
Even in elementary school.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
They're, like, even about half the books are on like tablets and stuff
you
like
kidding?
that. Yeah, they've even been doing.
Are you
away-
joking?
No, I'm not. Actually.
I'm so far back from any kind of child that I have no idea.
I'm
Like, you could
fresh
be
on a
totally
child,
lying to me.
Okay, no, I'm totally fresh on a child right now.
I know you're fresh on a child,
That
Yes.
sounds really gross.
But your fresh ass
You
child
would
isn't
go
in
that
school
way.
yet.
but is that your first child?
But we have to prepare for that. I have an older child as well, though.
That's what I'm saying. Is it so? It's your
But I
second
mean, he's
child,
only 3, but he is going.
He soups fresh on a child.
and he already has a tablet and everything, and he has a Twitter.
Fresh on this kid.
He has a Twitter account already and an Instagram.
Probably.
It's Scott's kid.
Damn right. Because
He gets mad.
It's
Like,
Scott,
already.
it's underscore Scott's kid underscore.
That's actually his Instagram name is Scott's Kid.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And he's only got 4,000 followers. It's weird.
he has
Twice
way
the
more
amount of me.
followers than I do. And that's all I know.
It's trending.
With his social media presence, I'm gonna get him to be the first spin-off podcast. It's just him going for like an hour.
Well, my oldest one talks a little bit. The language is getting there.
Yeah.
So
He can use a tablet, but he can't talk?
He doesn't have to. He
He's
has a
not even
tablet.
3 yet.
Oh. I don't know how
So-
old your kids are. I'm sorry.
I've got one that's almost 3 and one that is still under 24 hours old.
Yeah.
Well, I know that. But I
So-
assumed that your child was school age, which is why you knew about all the tablets in schools.
No, he said he was
but
preparing.
I also have preparing. I have
age
nieces
children.
and nephews. I have friends that have kids that are different ages.
So when are you going to introduce your oldest to John Waters? I figure Hairspray's the safe bet lead-in.
Hairspray definitely.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
that cereal mom.
Serial mom.
Cereal mom. Come on.
This is what your mom's going to do if you don't behave.
Basically, give him
Get your
all the
shit together.
Kathleen Turner, all right?
Yeah, right.
Give him all of it.
The Californication Kathleen Turner, where she's just a fucking train wreck.
God damn.
But,
Oh, please change the subject now.
well, no, what we are talking about tonight, and Kathleen Turner is part of it, but we're mainly talking about John Waters, his films, his career, his just representation of sleaze. and all things
Goddamn right.
surrounding that. So I'm very excited about this episode. It's John fucking Waters. A couple of us have had the opportunity to either meet him and or see his like stage show.
Spoken word,
His
I guess,
spoken
is
word,
the general
technically.
term now. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about our
One-man
experiences
show.
there.
There you go.
The movies, how they touched us inappropriately and appropriately on this episode of Geeks Under the Geeks Under the Influence, episode 90. So welcome.
90.
Hey! We are 90 episodes in. We are 10 episodes away from episode 100.
Fuck yeah!
Which is going to come out around our 2-year anniversary. So I'm
Yeah.
very excited about that.
Nice.
Which, well, and
You guys
I'll
don't look
I'll just say we have the high hopes for still trying on that.
Yeah, we have some ideas we're
Yeah.
batting around. So we're going to see what we're going to be able to do for episode 100. But hopefully if things go the way that we want them to,
Yes.
episode 100 is going to be fan-fucking-tastic.
Completely nude.
Well, no, that doesn't take any effort. That just
Yeah,
takes,
oh, that's right.
Oh.
You're a newbie. You haven't seen the second half yet, have you?
That's when
Yeah.
we all take our pants off.
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm ready.
Yeah, actually,
We have the crotch off, we all
getting naked
compare.
takes less effort
Yeah.
because you don't have to put on clothes in the first place. So,
Yeah,
Right.
we gotta
Sure.
drive over here.
Why else do you think he does it at his house?
I mean, that's one way to get out of a ticket.
God, I
is
knew
But
just
it's
there was a
cold,
reason
and
why I
I
was
mean,
here.
like,
cutting glass.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
fair
don't want
enough.
to break windows coming in your house.
I appreciate that.
That
Jesus
would be
Christ.
rude. That would be pretty rude.
Rude.
There.
So
rude.
tonight we got a 5 spot, possibly a 6 spot if Lowdown is able to make it back. His lady,
Come on, buddy.
little swole
Come
maid
on.
had some car trouble, so it really depends on whether he'll be back to join us or not. But for now,
She is little.
she
What a
is
hero.
little. She is tiny. He is a hero.
God.
He is a hero.
The
God
mighty
among
swole
men.
maid.
But I think we're going to be able to deal with him, whether he comes back or not, with a 5-person panel currently. I am
Deal with him.
Mike the Hobbit Bickett, host of Geeks Under the Influence. You can find me on Twitter at Mike Bickett, or follow the Geeks Under the Influence Twitter at GUI Podcast RVA. Follow all of our other social media stuff at GUIPodcast.com and join the conversation. You can also hit us up on Gmail at geeksundertheinfluence@gmail.com. And for all those watching, there's a little subscribe button right next to the screen. If you click that, you'll get notified when we have new content uploaded or live streaming.
Now, is
or
it
any
there,
of
or there on the
It's-
screen?
that. I think it's
Somewhere.
It's in. I think it's over on this side. I'm not
It's
sure.
probably
Is it
right
there?
here.
down there. It's in that
Yeah.
general region. Okay.
And the
Somewhere
nether
near
region?
your crotch, whatever
So-
device you're
Yeah.
on, it's probably near your
Do us a
crotch.
favor.
Most
just
likely.
Yeah.
give it a little clicky click.
Like
subscribe.
double click it, maybe? Oh, no,
no,
not the
'cause
mouse. That's the mouse, sorry.
Yeah, no, don't
At
double
the
click it
table.
because I think that would unsubscribe you. So
Depending on how many times you do
click
it.
it as
That's
many
true.
times as it takes for it to go subscribed, and then you're good to go. But yeah,
How
follow
many
us.
clicks on your button does it take to unsubscribe?
I'm an easy pleaser. It's
You
like
can't
1 or 2 clicks tops.
unsubscribe. Once you've subscribed, you can't.
No,
That's
you just can't quit, Mike.
You can't.
No, you're stuck.
Most of our listeners wish they knew how to quit me.
I've been
but-
trying for 10 years.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. So to my left, the portly white Queequeg,
Thank you.
the panelist formerly known as Half Lung,
Hey, I'm there.
strong like bull.
Excuse
Yes.
me. I didn't
And
think
the
the
new
mic would pick that
daddy.
up.
New daddy.
New
Yeah,
daddy.
It's a fresh.
You're an old daddy. You already
Freshly-
have a kid.
Yeah, but I've got a fresh one now.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Now
other
you
one.
have a new favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, is it a
Forget about the
girl?
other one.
He's like, hit
No.
the reset button, new daddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, that's gonna be
New
your-
daddy.
It's not portly like white Queequeg anymore. It's now new daddy.
New daddy.
Daddy Scotty.
Who wants a new daddy?
We should probably clarify 2 things. A, they didn't like kill the first child to have the new one, so it's not a true reset.
No,
How-
you gotta
how
have.
do you-
You gotta.
how-
So
I'm sorry. Go.
no.
I'm sorry. That was so rude of me. But Groot started speaking up, and I just gotta shut down the German whenever.
Well,
Yeah.
also,
So-
he actually has the permission of his lovely wife, who is still in the hospital.
she is. Tonight is the last night in the hospital.
Okay.
I'll be perfectly honest. My wife is the true fan of John Waters, so I am representing for her. She would have tried to be on the episode, but we.
Is she
Yeah.
watching?
I don't know. She might be on her phone. The
She
Wi-Fi
also
is
just had,
shitty at the
she
hospital.
just had a baby, so she's probably sleeping.
No,
I'm sorry. I've never had a
they
baby.
you
Or
you
she's
get
laying there
woken up
bored as
every
fuck.
few hours, feed the baby,
Okay.
do stuff.
all right,
Yeah, so
I don't know how the lady people do that.
I-
It just seems.
I'm
all-
gonna assume.
You
like,
think we
just
know? You
like
think
that.
we know how
I
it
Oh
works?
no,
We don't.
It's not that
I
easy.
mean, I'm figuring it
Yeah.
comes out of the vagina, but that's about as far as I know with the
Same.
baby making info.
That's all you need to know.
You like breathe weird and the baby comes out and then you're done. Like that's all.
You're more worried about what you know
Sounds
about
about
what
right.
That's
comes out of the
exactly
vagina.
how it happened.
And
Pretty sure.
yeah, you've been trying to get into a vagina.
It was so warm in there before I was born. I just want to get back in.
Oh, I need another conversation with your mother.
No, no.
Yeah,
I need the next
I do.
conversation topic.
Yeah, right. Well, let's move on from Scotty P, who is the new
Yes.
daddy, to the German, Mr. Socks and Sandals. The Grutz is here,
Yes, indeed.
bringing the John Waters knowledge. You had an opportunity to meet the man.
Yeah. At a convention, the now defunct Horrifying convention.
I'm just touching you because you met him.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic blast. Like I got a bunch of stuff signed. He was really nice, and then got to see him talk about his new book at the time, which was Role Models.
Okay.
You know, got a signed copy and everything, and it was like fucking sweet, man. The guy is like totally down to earth. He is very approachable. You know, anyone who's been to like conventions and stuff. Sometimes
Or even Baltimore.
celebrities are. Well, it was in Maryland, not Baltimore. But sometimes celebrities are very approachable, very cool. Sometimes they're just there for the money. And he was one of those awesome ones that was like very gracious and like, oh yeah, and just strike up a conversation.
If I can just chime in, if he was in it for the money, that would have bailed long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have done half the shit he had done if it was for money.
Well, he's in that same kind of area as a lot of the indie directors that we've come to love, like Lloyd Kaufman with Trauma or Kevin Smith, where John Waters, he has a cult following for sure. There are people that are excited as shit anytime he's got new stuff coming out, but he's not making $200 million a movie or anything on box office. That's just not.
No.
He'll clear maybe 20 mil like worldwide on a release.
Yeah, on a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends in Baltimore who say he still comes out to like the random bar, and he talks about it in the book Role Models and some of his other books, how he comes out to the bars and stuff like Auto Bar in Baltimore and
Oh God,
I think
you
Auto
couldn't
Bar
pick a
is
better
always
bar than
favorite.
Auto Bar.
always randomly shows up. Yeah.
That's one of like
And
Lemmy and the Rainbow.
it never happened whenever I was in Baltimore.
I know.
Nope.
All
He just
the
didn't
time I
happen to be
spent
coming
partying
out.
there.
Well,
on
the trick
town.
is apparently nowadays he only comes out on Friday
Friday.
nights.
Is that the trick?
Next Friday.
Oh,
you
we
in?
just
said go?
blew
Yeah.
up John Waters' spot.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's like saying that Lemmy used to hang out at the Rainbow Room. Like
But he
everybody
might
knows.
not be there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's
he
what
travels.
I just said. Like
Yeah.
and of
He's
course,
a
the one
liver
time
full
I go
time.
to the Rainbow is when Motorhead's on tour.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Well, now he's dead. So
well,
Oh.
Damn, too soon.
Wait, what?
what is this?
Flip the whole table
this
over.
heresy you speak of?
All right, next up on the panel is Miss Emily C. is here.
Hi.
Ready to talk about her love of John Waters to the point you, for a little bit, were working with Stuff Toxic with a candle company where you had a Saint John Waters candle as one of the items.
I did, and
Yeah.
I love him so much. I actually got his quote, one of his quotes tattooed on me.
What do you have tattooed on you?
Have faith in your own bad taste.
There isn't really much better
Yeah.
advice
Yeah.
than that.
It's like
That's a good one.
underneath the pop art looking divine portrait I have too.
Yes.
Awesome.
So you have earned your way onto this panel, definitely.
Yeah.
Anybody that has John Waters
I
tattoos.
sucked my way onto this panel. So
I mean,
Thank you for that. It was really good.
everybody has their own way of doing it.
I was about to say, wasn't any of us? I don't know. Shit.
Mike, do you have some? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Little tongue bath.
Ah.
Yeah. The one that gives the tongue baths is next one up and the last one on our panel tonight. A first timer on Geeks Under the
Fresh
Influence,
meat.
but fresh meat, but also someone that is full of all sorts of John Waters knowledge. So I'm very happy to have her on. Ms. Robin Roadkill is here.
Whoa.
oh, hello.
You're a massive John Waters fan, correct? Like,
I am massive.
Yeah.
Well, not
That's
in,
how people describe me normally.
Yeah.
not in
absolutely.
dimensions.
Coming from the tiniest person in the room. I'm massive.
I'm huge.
Yes, I am.
You're the size that if you were in a John Waters movie, you would be the ugly one because everybody that's seen as pretty in his movies are all like huge. And,
That's
like,
true, that's
shriveled
true.
and weird. So
That's where I am a delicacy.
you would be a delicacy
Yes.
in both the bear culture in any city and also John
I
Waters.
don't know if I'm
films.
hairy enough to be a bear though, or tall enough.
You got the sailor beard, so I think you'll be okay.
Okay, I'll
Anybody-
take it.
That's
Anybody-
probably like a bear fetish.
Probably.
Yeah, good.
I don't know.
Call it the Gordon's fisherman fetish.
Wearing nothing but my rain poncho.
Right?
That's your pickup line in the gay bars. Hey, baby, you want the Gordon's fisherman?
I'll give you the special Gordon.
Wearing a rain slicker.
I'm going to
Yellow rain
harpoon
slicker.
you,
that?
baby.
That's That was our thing. Why you gotta sully that?
That's terrible.
Well, you know.
Son of a bitch.
You can see it in bed. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, no, starboard bow. Starboard bow. Yeah, there we go.
Starboard bow.
Starboard bow.
Starboard
Is
bow?
that even true nautical speak?
I don't know.
Starboard is the right.
Yeah.
What the shit?
See?
Starboard is right. But
Bow
you don't
is
say
like the
bow
front,
is the
right?
back.
Oh.
Bow is the back.
Yeah,
of the
you
boat.
just want the bow.
It's the back right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What was
Try
the back
to
right?
smack a cheek or something?
I'm just saying, sometimes it's a hot dog in a hallway and you got to work with it. I'm just saying.
Pick a side and rub.
That's what I'm always saying.
All right, fair enough. I can't argue that. I just can't.
So, speaking of, we were talking about the differences in attractiveness or allure in John Waters films versus the common Hollywood approach. The first thing I can think of is Divine in most of the John Waters movies is like this romantic interest for a number of people, like in several films.
Bless her.
Yeah, bless her.
her.
She's a delight, but
Rest
she's
in peace.
by
Yes.
oh, absolutely.
Amen.
Cheers on that.
I'd
But
pour
by,
one out, but I
by
won't.
Hollywood standards, that would not at all be the shoehorn that she would be shoved into in that role.
No.
Well, I gotta say, like, he found his muse, and in a fucked up way, that's perfect for John Waters because that's his whole thing. You know, he found this amazing drag queen that was just fabulous in every
Well,
way.
they actually grew up together, didn't they?
Right.
They knew each other
Yeah,
as
they were, like,
kids
Yeah.
and all
old
that.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got a lot of history, but you know, putting her in the movies and completely opposite from the mainstream. And I mean, that's definitely how he started his career. Even though he got, his later movies, he got a little more mainstream, but it was always subversive mainstream. But Divine, fucking fantastic.
True. Never Divine. But I'm Hobbit, I'm sorry, I got to bring this back to you.
Sure.
Because John Waters, Divine being friends growing up and stuff, would that make Lowdown your Divine for the podcast?
We weren't friends really growing up.
But he has been one of the most constant people on here, and he was one of the first still.
No,
For the
dude.
podcast,
Yes.
Crump
Yeah. Crump would be my Divine.
is
Yeah.
his Divine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Especially when he does Jewish Mother.
Oh, yeah.
When he does
Yeah,
the Jewish Mother
that's
voice.
true.
Yeah.
We got to
Damn,
get Crump in
that
makeup
is-
one time.
okay, so Lowdown,
And just do Harvey Firestein impressions
God,
in,
kill
in
me.
drag.
God, yeah, that'd be amazing.
Lowdown,
Oh, God.
Lowdown can be your Mink Stole then.
Okay. That'll work.
All
That'll
right.
work.
Done.
Yeah, speaking of Divine and we got a list here. Divine, Mick Stoll, David Lockery, Mary Vivian Pierce, and Edith Massey were all part of what were known as the Dreamlanders in the early part of John Waters' career, where it was just a bunch of people that he knew that were like either artists
That's all
or
he could get.
students or that they were doing short films. They
Didn't
were
have to pay.
They were fucking around and doing
Yeah.
guerrilla style DIY filmmaking and entered stuff and made what they could. And I don't think he's talked about that they had any intention on becoming like this cult status thing. It's just they were smoking weed and having fun and like hanging out and doing
Doing
poppers
acid.
and
Yeah.
acid. And,
Oh, yeah. Eating poop.
yeah, well,
It's kind of like goes back to what he said about when people ask him like, how do you come up with these like fucked up ideas? Like, why are you doing this? And he's like, I did it to entertain myself, to amuse myself. That's
Yeah.
what all of the Dreamlanders started out with just being fucked up. And we're like, this would be funny. Let's film it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were just joking themselves, and it became this whole big thing.
Well, I kind of disagree with saying that that's all he could get. I think that he specifically like picked like Edith Massey especially and Divine are two very like recognizable icons that are like
True.
they're the opposite of the conventional sense of beauty. And,
Sure.
Most
Yeah.
people nowadays would not see them as beautiful, but he found them very interesting and like you said, a muse. For both of them just had this spirit, especially Edith Massey and Divine, of course, but
I guess by all he could get, I didn't mean that like he would have wanted better, but just it wasn't even an option that he would think to hire actors.
Yeah, like the
it-
Right,
audition-
right, yeah,
the
yeah.
It's not
auditions,
like
it
he
wasn't
would have
like,
taken auditions.
I
It was
guess
just, this
you'll
is what
do.
I have,
It was-
but it happens to be what I want because it's so far off from the norm.
Yeah.
and it was great.
Yeah.
And you have to think about it because Edith Massey too was much older than him at the time, and still is. I think she is dead. Now,
Did she pass recently?
But at the
not
time,
sure.
she
I
must
can't
have been
remember.
when they were making the movie. She must have been much older than him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Mink Stole, you want to talk about it. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting her in Pittsburgh at a horror con. The sweetest fucking woman.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Mink Stole, wonderful. That's all I can say. She was wonderful, and she has nothing but high praise for like John Waters, Divine, this list of people and everybody who worked with, it was community. That's the best way to describe what they were doing. Like
they all value that time.
Yeah, they all had fun together. They were friends. They watched each other's back, and they were making something. So they did it.
Well, I think part of the reason why John Waters strikes a chord with so many people is because the actors that he had involved in the projects and himself, they all felt like outcasts. They were not part of the norm. I mean, Mondo Trasho came out in 1969. And think about like a gay man in Baltimore in 1969 or a drag queen in 1969. Like
I think about them in 1969 all the time.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I think they do 1969 sometimes.
Probably, yeah. But they were outsiders. They were not out of the norm. They were not accepted by modern society, or at that time, modern society. So they had to kind of find their own niche, and they had to find acceptance. And that's something that you see in a lot of John Waters films, is that as trashy and sleazy as it is, it's not people being shitty to each other. If anything, it's making fun of the fucking squares that are so caught up in their own dumb bullshit. The weirdos, those are the ones that are celebrated. There's community.
Those are the heroes.
Those are the heroes in all the films. And that's why all the fucking weirdos, all the punks and the goth kids and the rockabilly kids and everything, like, we're drawn to the John Waters films. Because we're like, yes, that!
Yeah.
We're all that.
That was the exact subversion of his like style of movie making, because he took all the outcasts and all the rejects and all the people that didn't fit in and made these incredibly insane, sleazy, trashy, nearing on porn sort of movies, but there was nothing exploitative really about them, in the sense that all these people were having a good time, and people were getting killed and murdered and raped and all kinds of stuff, whatever. But it was all fun, and it never felt like
somebody was being taken advantage of.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
There was because in playing off that as well, if you look at the plot line of most of the movies he did, it was about some type of outsider finding the group, becoming part of the group, and then usually having a head-on collision for the climax of the film to figure out what was going on. And even in some of the films, they all end up being friends anyways. So... Well,
and also, just as an example, Crybaby, where sometimes even the square realizes that life's a lot more fun when you're hanging out with the weirdos. Like that,
right.
It's like, oh, no, they're so much better. Like, they're cooler, they're more fun, they don't give as much of a shit about, like, the dumb shit that doesn't actually matter. The square realizing that, like, life's a lot better when you don't, structure yourself to the point of taking all the fun out of everything. And that's...
And I would totally want to hang out with Iggy Pop anyways.
Well,
yeah. No shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the line in Crybaby where she actually says, "I'm just so tired of being good." Like,
yes.
They're basically saying, like, this world is awful. They do the same thing kind of in Desperate Living, too. Like, they kind of make fun of her and, like, kind of say that she's crazy when she's living this nice life, and then she goes and lives with the trash people, and everything's so much better. She's a lot more sane, well, relatively. But,
As sane as you could be with the trash people.
Right.
Yeah. But you get that with, like, most of his films, where there's this feeling that the real trick to happiness is just acceptance of yourself and acceptance of the people around you. That as much as they, talk shit and get weird, everybody accepts that, they're weirdos, and they're not the same kind of weirdos. They're weirdos in their own little personal ways, but everybody's like, cool, no problem. Like, a very accepting group, unless you're trying to push your opinion, your ideology on that group, and then that's when you're the fucking villain. In John Waters. And that comes from, I think, him growing up as a gay man in the 1960s in Baltimore, felt like he was being impressed upon to have this life that he wanted nothing to do with. And I gotta say that he's inspired a lot of people to be themselves growing up. I saw my first John Waters film when I was maybe 14, 15 years old, and that's what spoke to me. Was that it was a matter of, the heroes of the film were the ones that figured out who they were and just rolled with it and made no apologies for it.
Yeah.
So
not all of them walk the straight and narrow, if you would.
No.
I mean, the filthiest person alive, people were fighting to be the shittiest person they could be.
Oh, yeah.
It's
absolutely.
celebrated. Like, you want to be that bad.
Yeah.
True.
But there was also a distinction between, like, being bad and being evil. Because being bad in the John Waters films, they weren't evil necessarily. They just didn't give a fuck about the status quo. Right. And oftentimes went the opposite of the status quo just because. And that didn't make them evil or even criminals in a lot of rights.
But then there were people more evil than them who were the anti.
Yeah.
That particular, in Pink Flamingos.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that we can see in every generation going forward, like even in our current generation, where some of the family values folks are some of the most hateful people that you'll ever meet in your entire fucking
absolutely.
life.
Those are the ones sending the death threats
Those are the
and
scary
other
ones.
stuff to other groups. Yeah.
And the weirdos, the bizarros, are like, we accept everyone. I don't care who you're dating, who you love, what you look like, any of that stuff. If you're a cool person, cool. That's it. Like, that's all it really matters.
Yeah.
So
Can we... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, his last one, Dirty Shame, echoed that a lot too. Because
true.
you have these sort of like
I'm kind of hammering it home.
sex addicts going on, and and the people that were really the bad guys. The satire of it was brilliant because it was all the normal people that were like, we can't have this in our neighborhood. No. This is filthy. This is bad.
Damn right, it's filthy.
It's like, yeah, exactly. But they're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
They're just
Yeah,
fucking
do
a
what you
lot.
wanna do.
And they might be like, going down on a bottle of water in the middle of an AA meeting or something, whatever it was. It's like, oh, big deal. Nobody got hurt.
Well, look at
Who
Pecker.
doesn't do that?
Somebody got
any
shocked.
Kind of sexual deviancy is
That's
fine.
Yeah.
that's just what you do at an AA meeting, right? Like, or I just went to a weird one. If that's not the,
I don't think that was an
Oh,
AA
no,
meeting.
that wasn't the right one.
Yeah.
No,
No, that was Asshole Anonymous.
That was an alley. I'm sorry, I get those confused sometimes. It's like-
But if following off on Groot here, if you look at Pecker, for them
right now,
totally.
I mean, yeah.
Don't look.
No,
don't.
look.
Me and
Nobody
Emily.
allowed to
here.
Pecker.
Look at my Pecker.
Ooh.
Yes.
I love that
Mixed
movie.
company.
Yes. But on that movie, you'd realize that really when it started going downhill for everybody was when they realized it was a picture of a vagina on the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
They realized what it was.
Yeah. Other than that, it's ignorance is bliss.
I
So-
really like that one because it kind of made fun of because John Waters, if you read his books, he's very focused on, like, he loves art
Yeah.
and, like, different artists, but that was kind of, like, poking fun at the highbrow art society, who, like, rejected those pictures once they realized, or, like, at first they accepted them because it was so dirty and it was kind of like a niche thing, but then...
Mm-hmm. Well, and then what the mainstream can do to you.
Yeah.
Because with John Waters, so much of his stuff is so indie, but then look at, like, Serial Mom, Crybaby, a couple of the others, Hairspray.
Pretty much
That is
post Divine. Like, I think was
Yeah.
Hairspray the last one that Divine did? I think after that was
I
pretty
think
much
so.
Divine free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I want to say that. Well, we got the list right here. I think Crybaby was next after. Yeah, Crybaby was next, like a couple years later, and there was no Divine after that. So, and that's when I wouldn't say he went mainstream, but it was more accepted by the mainstream. Maybe he was still doing his thing that he'd always done, but he just got to be a better filmmaker.
Well, and sometimes it's all about timing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Not only was he a better filmmaker, it was a lot less DIY. And also, I mean, you're looking at Crybaby came out in 1990. And, like, the 90s, man. Like, everybody was, like, much more willing to, like, be weird. And,
But Hairspray was also more relatable. It was, like, because, it was a race thing. And everybody was really accepting of that, whereas the other ones were kind of, like, more on the fringe of society.
Well,
Not just
I think
talking
you
race,
have a
but
good
talking
point.
sexuality and stuff that it took
Yeah.
until like the mid 2000s to really have a real conversation about.
Yeah, she has a good point though. It was a transition because like Polyester is one of my favorite films by him.
That's a good one.
And it really has that sort of like family, the nuclear family unit sort of thing that breaks down, and Divine, and Tab Hunter, this like hot boy star from the like 60s is playing the older guy, the love interest, and that fucking movie's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
And
good.
I see that almost as like his transition because the movie he made before that was Desperate Living, which was bananas. It was just like
it's
insane.
not
Shit
as
crazy.
relatable.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe as
So,
like to the mainstream.
Polyester
Right.
was like his
More artistic.
transition movie, and then he did Hairspray, but like he never lost that satire. Which
Oh,
is
no,
great.
absolutely not.
Now, our buddy Eric Schmiel from the Schmiel Show just posted on the live stream that he's not all that terribly familiar with John Waters films. So what would you suggest for somebody that's like getting into John Waters as a starter? And let's take away the whole like sensitivities thing of like ease them into it, but like the one that you think would really give them a really good idea of John Waters in general.
Pink
Mondo
Flamingos.
Trasho.
Pink flamingos.
No,
for me.
honestly, like
Go big or go home.
no,
Go big or go home.
it is iconic. It is the ultimate like midnight movie. But I would say if you want to get somebody into John Waters to the feel of it, I would go with Crybaby or Serial Mom, just to like get them the feel of like ease them
That
in.
is true.
He said don't ease them in. He just said
Well, I wouldn't
that.
say go for the hardest core one just because it's hardcore, but like that you get the real spirit of John Waters from the
Oh.
film.
I don't know.
Then maybe Crybaby.
I
Maybe
mean, that is
Crybaby.
my
I was
favorite
thinking
movie of all
Crybaby,
time.
yeah.
So.
Crybaby.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Crybaby.
Well, I feel like
I stand by
Crybaby is
Pink
the nice
Flamingos,
balance
though.
between where it's still
It
got a
is.
little bit of the shock of the early stuff, but it's got a little bit. It's better production value. It's
Johnny Depp, baby.
better acting, even though it's overacting, but it's intentionally overacting.
Johnny
Ready to
Depp,
talk
Tracy
about
Lords.
Jeff yet?
Fucking hatchet face.
But let me tell
Damn
you,
right.
damn
Hatch.
it.
He
It's
was
accept-
actually a lawyer.
the thing is that if you want to try to introduce someone to a director who has a very distinct style, you got to give them something that's going to be accessible and palatable. And you know, not to say that Crybaby is like his light fare, but like it's something
It's
you
lighter.
could come in and watch and be like,
it
oh,
is
that's
light, yeah.
interesting. What else has this guy done? And then they can decide, oh well, if you
I
like
wanna
this,
see a drag queen eating
why
shit.
don't you go see like fucking the greatest
I think
like
that's your title.
schlock,
Yeah.
like you know, midnight movie of all time, you know, Pink Flamingos,
Oh,
you know, which is fucking bananas, you know, but
that makeup dough.
Yes.
Oh,
But can I just say title of the episode?
Oh, that's what I just said, yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't know if we can use shit in the title. I think that
Well, do
gets
your little asterisk for the
that little
I.
asterisk.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's
Okay.
Usually like 4 or 5 options on titles by the time we're done with episodes.
That's
but,
true. That is true.
So we're saying Crybaby for the most part is a pretty good choice.
I would say so.
Or Hairspray. I mean, like Hairspray was the one that was made into a mainstream Hollywood movie.
That would be maybe somebody
Recently.
that would have some maybe issue with early John Waters as a way to
sensitivity
kind of
type.
like slowly work it in. If you don't have
Yeah.
sensitivities to like
but his version, not the new.
No, not
Yeah,
the,
no. We're
not
talking
the John
the-
Travolta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't
bullshit.
even count.
Nah.
Ricky Lake before she was Ricky Lake Hairspray.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do like the cameo he makes though in the new one where he's like the pervert,
Yeah.
or it's like it's part of
The
the song where he's
flasher
like
or
your
something.
neighborhood. Yeah, and
Yep.
it's John Waters.
yeah.
I actually did not see the remake.
I can't.
Not really.
I think
missing
it just was.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
I just
I
got
have no
excited
problem with
seeing
drag.
his cameo
I
in
have
it.
problem with John Travolta and drag. I think is my problem.
Oh yeah,
Like,
the problem
he
is
looks
John
terrifying.
Travolta, not the
Yeah.
fact that it's drag.
No, not at all.
No,
Like
but if
Divine
you
and drag
listen-
was fantastic. but
Yes.
no, John Travolta and
It was because it was a Scientologist.
it was
No,
horrifying.
if
That's
you read
why.
his book though, if you read Role Models, he addresses the fact that he never because he doesn't think about that kind of thing. He doesn't care about your religion or whatever. That John Travolta never pushed on him, so he didn't care.
Right.
He addresses the
yeah.
fact because I think everybody was like what?
Well, a little known fact, though, the reason that John Travolta took the role in the first place is because it's proven in Scientology that dressing in drag lowers your Thetan count.
Thetan?
Thetan
Are you
count.
for real?
I'm not familiar with Scientology at all, so I have no idea what
Gullible
you're
as
saying.
shit. I was like, are you fucking serious?
I thought you were about to bring in midichlorians and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was like, you know,
I mean,
like
come on.
Wait, are you joking?
I'm totally joking. Yeah,
Oh.
no, I have no idea.
could've
I don't
gone
know
with
anything
that.
about
I know.
Scientology, so I would be like,
Ladies.
No,
ladies,
Thetans are
come on.
the alien ghost spirits that live in your body or something,
Right,
or
right.
Thetans, and yeah, I don't
Damn it.
know. You
There's a
have to hold
good
these, like-
documentary streaming.
But he
Go
does
watch it.
he does address it in Role Models that a lot of people were shocked about John
Travolta.
Travolta. Yeah, I was about to do a Waters Travolta mix. John with
Well, he-
Travolta.
What Travolta?
Yeah, but he addresses it that he didn't care because he doesn't push it on anybody. But still, you know, you're not going to take Divine's place
Well,
any
Travolta
day.
got a lot of shit apparently for doing that too from the Scientology church. They were apparently up in arms, and he's like high-ranking officer. Or
Well, they were just worried that
An
that was
officer,
going to lead
what
to
is he,
him.
Grand
Well,
Wizard of Scientology?
Who knows? I don't know.
I know nothing about Scientology. Sorry.
Thankfully.
Nah. Read the book Diabetics or whatever it is. I don't know.
No, they're just
The diabetic cookbook.
Wilford Brimley.
Diabetes.
the Scientologists were worried that dressing in drag was going to send him on a spiral where he'd start like sexually
You're lying
assaulting
again.
like massage
Listen to him.
therapists and stuff, and luckily that didn't happen. So it was
Oh,
just all
wait.
for naught.
Oh, wait.
That did.
Which, by the way, we're going to meet Will from Brimley in about a month.
Oh, I'm super excited about
Diabetes.
that. Yeah.
Oh, is he gonna be at that?
Are you
con?
really?
Yeah, he's going to be at Monster Mania.
Yeah,
He's gonna be what?
For our regular listeners and anybody that lives
Diabetes man?
in the Philly
What
or
for?
He was in John Carpenter's The Thing back in the day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Sans mustache.
Cocoon.
Crazy.
True.
Oh, a classic.
The Cocoon and Cocoon 2.
Cocoon too. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
But for our listeners that
Don't
are
look at me
in the
like that.
Philly, Jersey, New York area, Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, New Jersey is going to be taking place on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of
Yeah.
March. And a number of
The
the
second
GY.
trashiest city after Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
And GY is going there with bells on. We got, like 6 panelists, I think, are going to be going into town.
Yeah, it's
at
going
this
to be
point.
nuts.
It's going to be ridiculous. So we're going to try to get another interview with Lloyd Kaufman post-election. So
Oh,
no, for
shit.
sure. We're working out the details, so don't count on it. But that's one of the things we're aiming for. They've got Wilford Brimley. They've got the 2 of the guys from Stranger Things, 2 of the kids. Lucas and Dustin are going to be there. The Demogorgon's going to be there. Wilford Brimley, John Cusack,
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph
motherfucker.
Macchio is going to be there.
Fuck.
So it's going to be an absolute blast, and we're going to be partying all weekend. So if you guys are planning on coming out to Monster Mania, hit us up on any of our social media stuff. We'll drink a beer with you. Like, we're going to be partying all weekend, so why the fuck
yeah.
not? Yeah.
These guys don't party.
No, not at all.
Never seen them party.
Never party.
They drink orange Fanta and just sit in the room.
This
the
is
whole
actually
weekend.
full. This High Life is full of orange Fanta right now.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. We spiked your drinks.
You got to fake it till you make it. Yeah, but LSD, it doesn't have the same effect as alcohol does. It has
No,
a
it
If I had hard
different.
drugs
And
and I
who-
would give them to you guys for free, no, I'd
Of
take
which
them.
John Waters is a big fan.
I'd make money on that
Acid
shit
in.
at least. Come on.
Now, let's talk about that, because on, was it The Filthy Word, he was talking about that he's pretty much down to poppers at this point. This is what he does.
Because he did say that pot smelled, so he had to stop smoking weed. 'Cause he just hated the way it smelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a funny reason to quit
Yeah.
doing a drug. Is like, it just smells funny.
I like
I don't
my
like
John
the way it
Waters
smells
voice
either.
better than yours.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
Okay.
soothing.
But yeah, he was an acid head back in the day.
just smelled
bunch of doobies. All the doobies.
You'd have to be to come up with some of this
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way you could sober sit around and be like,
Well,
you know what? Shit, we're gonna eat it.
Okay. Yeah.
Not just, you know what, shit, but no, shit.
We're
That's
eating it.
the
Shit,
focus of the
comma, we're gonna eat it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you know, he
By
says
we,
that was
it
a
means
response
you,
to the
Divine.
Deep Throat.
What?
This is my glass.
I was about to be like, what fucking sign language are you trying to? Hey, Mike.
It was the eating shit was a response to the restrictions in Deep Throat for Deep Throat at the time.
Okay.
Was I don't know what I'm trying to say. It was a response to Deep Throat's
It was like a fuck you to their censorship.
censorship. That's the word I was going for.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding.
To the censorship in Deep Throat eating shit.
Now, you guys might know more so than I would, but how much trouble has he gotten in for censorship over the years? I'm sure he's had some issue as far as the MPAA
no idea.
goes. But
That guy knows.
There was a lovely little documentary a couple years back called "This Is Not Yet Rated,"
I remember that film coming out.
I love that.
which was it's streaming in places, I think.
Yeah, it's
Netflix.
It's
I think.
still easily found. Yeah.
And it's basically about movies that have had really hard time with the MPAA and how fucked up the MPAA is, because it's basically a it's completely biased sort of thing where they pick, Midwest housewives and stuff to there's no, even keel on how this thing happens. And he was talking about Dirty Shame in this particular documentary, because he submitted like 4 cuts or something like that, like a crazy amount of cuts, like trying to tone it down. They were all just mad about the sexual tones. It wasn't really explicit anything, because there's no explicit sex in the movie.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, it's just trashy. But like, he was talking about it, and there were a lot of other directors on there talking about like the double standards between like, female orgasms and, versus male orgasms, and how long,
Well,
like,
to be
you
fair,
can
it's not
show-
even like a sexuality thing. Like,
Yeah.
dudes look weird when they come. Like, whenever
Yeah.
there's a movie where a dude's
But
coming, like they're doing the.
Until you ask.
Yeah.
the
but,
O face is not pretty.
No,
No.
a woman orgasming is
Ow.
glorious.
Is glorious. However,
True.
that is far more cut than anything in
uncomfortable.
cinema, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Adult.
Watch the documentary; it's amazing. But
So
yeah,
women are not allowed to come on film, apparently.
basically yes.
Oh,
no,
that's
yeah,
unfortunate.
It's a shame.
It's
It's
super.
a dirty
It's-
shame.
Oh, ta-dum-bum.
but yeah.
Kill me.
I had a thing But do you feel like, so back in the day, like I'm a fan of, terrible horror movies. And that, like, gratuitous nudity was commonplace.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
So...
If you fucked, you're going to die. Like,
but gratuitous nudity. Nowadays, it's like, you got to cover up and you have to have a certain rating. But that's why I think that some of his films are more shocking to our generation because there is nudity. Right. But to people who don't see as much of those times movies, but I mean, yes, they're fucking chickens, okay? But the nudity was more commonplace in movies back then.
You're absolutely correct.
But
absolutely correct.
The full bush.
I would say he was more tasteful in his tastelessness, if that makes any sense.
Have you seen Desperate Living?
Bad taste.
Holy shit, yo. Yeah. There's dicks everywhere.
That's true. That is true.
But I will say that the late 60s...
It's more shocking now than it was back then, is what I'm trying to say.
The late 60s and 70s were the absolute heyday of exploitation cinema.
Anthony, this is like his mantra that he just he'll walk into a room and just start saying this out loud to people.
Yeah, he will.
And the 1970s were
and it really was. And
forgive me, I'm new.
It was it was like a renaissance of like awesome like trashy cinema. And it happened across all the genres, horror, like sleaze.
Yeah, everything. There was boobies everywhere.
Well, exactly. And that was part of the reason why I think even that guy made the documentary. What he did was to show the difference, because back then, obviously the ratings were done differently. And to me, one of the biggest things that hit me with that documentary about the ratings and all that was because there's supposed to be a timeline for when this certain group
boobs
rates.
Out?
Well, of course. Boobs.
This is why I'm not a director, because I would be doing like a kids film and then just find a reason for the tits to pop out.
True.
Like it'd be Spy Kids like 14, and then
Jesus,
and there'd be like a
14 sets of tits.
Like there'd be like a maid in the background that just dumps them out all of a sudden for no reason. Yeah. So
sorry, I was cleaning.
Sorry. What, you don't like dust your coffee table with tits? Like I thought that's just how you dust coffee tables.
That is.
I do. You?
I mean, no,
right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Fair.
Confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
2 members of the female sex. Confirm that.
By the way, the Dusty Nipple, great bear bar in Vancouver. You guys should check it out.
Canada?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed in Canada.
If you're gonna
Vancouver I know of.
looking for bears in the gay scene, then lumberjack country is the way to go.
I guess it's better than like a dusty boner.
Dusty boner. No, that's in Utah, actually.
Thanks to the expert over here.
Hey, look. I have a map. I won't explain why.
Just one map? What is it of?
Well, I'm the only one that needs it.
Star Wars Galaxy?
I like this little...
I have that map too.
It's my glasses. It's adjusting your glasses. Emily knows what it is. I don't know why she looked so shocked earlier.
I actually do that all the time. It's usually when I go, well, actually.
Yeah.
Actually.
Over-explain.
Yeah, I don't know why you looked so shocked.
Actually,
because
guys.
You missed and went up the forehead. I've never pushed my glasses this high.
You did that kind of go high, like...
I was
like almost like you're like a cowboy.
All right, so...
Hey, Pilgrim.
Yeah, there you go.
So, let's move on to a new topic here.
Get off your horse and walk into the bar. Sorry.
We talked about the Dreamlanders, like the starting group that he started with. But there's been a ton of other people that have been involved with John Waters films since then. And really, right after the Dreamlanders were like the only people that he really worked with, he started looking at actual criminals that just got out of jail or porn stars.
Well, he does the prison filmmaking classes.
Yeah, and he was looking for as Hillary Clinton would put it, the undesirables, to be involved in his films.
Deplorables?
The deplorables, yeah. That's the deplorables, sorry.
Deplorables.
And that just goes along with the spirit of his movies, like so much that this wasn't just like Robin was saying at the beginning of the episode, it wasn't just what he had available to him. He actively pursued the deplorable, the porn stars and the criminals and the malcontents to be part of his filmmaking process.
Right.
So what do you think it was that drew actual like Hollywood actors to be involved? Because in later films, you had name actors that got
involved. But if you look at when those movies were made, those were still very early in their career.
I don't know. Edward Furlong had done T2 at that point.
Edward Furlong.
He's only done 2 good movies.
Yeah.
But
it's
I mean, A
Pecker
Dirty Shame.
and American
A Dirty Shame.
History
And Johnny
X.
Depp wasn't big then, was he?
It was post 21 Jump Street, so he'd already been
But he was
on a
younger.
TV show.
But
He
that was
wasn't
his
Johnny Depp of today.
No.
But that was his transition.
But a Dirty
into the
Shame
movies
nowadays,
from a TV show.
or recently,
Which at
Except
that
for
time was
Nightmare
very-
on Elm Street. I mean, granted, he was
Shit.
young,
Yeah,
very
that,
young, but
I mean, he's always gotten
wasn't as big.
no, he was not as big.
No.
genre actors. Like he got Chris Isaac, for Dirty Shame, and Tracy Ullman, who's been a comedic genius for years.
But she's also been niche icon as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and like Tab Hunter, like for instance, for Polyester. By the way, there's also
that's applicable to the situation.
exactly,
Yes.
but also like there's a great documentary about him, Tab Hunter, being like a gay man in like 50s, 60s Hollywood. Like it's really worth watching.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
It's Tab Hunter on Netflix. There's something with Tab Hunter's name in it.
Okay.
It's really good though.
Tab Punter?
Tab
Is that what you said?
It does sound like what he said. Tab punter.
Punter.
like he's
Uh,
going to be a kicker for an NFL team or something. I mean,
but he had already at this point he was groomed by the studio system to be like the new hot boy like
The
man
new Rock
actor.
Hudson, basically.
Basically,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
It's just ironic that
And yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah.
And
he was dating Rock Hudson
and
at
then
the time.
he,
True.
some things happened in his career, and he kind of like lost favor, and then he kind of almost came back with this John Waters movie because it kind of entered him into like this new, realm of like interesting, kind of alternative cinema, and he was great in that movie. I thought it was awesome.
I feel like that what you're saying is more applicable to him kind of getting more mainstream actors. That's the only one that's really applicable to the situation because Johnny Depp was new, and at the time of Dirty Shame was happening, he had already kind of taken his place in being a sleazy icon and all that. So that's what drew these people who had similar ideas to him.
Now, Serial Mom's the only exception in the rule because Kathleen Turner was already a big star.
True.
Right.
True.
Right.
But she obviously read the script and was like, this is cool as hell. And she had already, she was a little bit past her prime because she had had, all that success in,
This
the
was
early
not
80s.
no Jewel of Denial. All right.
Exactly, yeah.
Shit.
God
She'd already
damn.
had the early 80s, the TV show, with Bruce Willis, moonlighting or whatever.
Oh, yeah, right.
Moonwalk.
So,
it was
Moonwalk.
Moonwalk.
yeah, baby.
He's one of the kids that Michael Jackson saved in the video game.
But-
It was Kathleen Turner.
It's still my favorite, performance of hers. Ever.
Sure.
It's so much fun. And, how much fun would that have been as an actor to just be like, oh, I get to play, an uptight housewife, but also kill people? Fuck yeah.
When I think ultimately, Serial Mom is a perfect example on what drew me into John Waters films in the first place is that there's a hyper reality that happens in his films where it's set. It's not in it's not in space or anything. It's not. It's in real life, but it's this super exaggerated version of it
The
that
caricature.
is so
Right.
much fun that there's a housewife that set someone on fire during an L7 concert. Just
No. I believe they were
That's
called
Robin's
the
future.
Camel Lips.
The
Thank you
Camel
very
Lips.
much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They were, it was the
Camel
camel
Lips.
lips.
Yes.
The camel lips. But yeah, and the thing is because of its hyper reality, that seems like it's completely appropriate in that world.
Well,
it's
he's-
this alternate dimension, this John Waters dimension,
Right.
where
He's-
everything's exaggerated and hyper real.
He's using this filter that filters the 1950s through a lens of rockabilly and weird drug use and sex. It's amazing.
You had me at the 1950s, drugs and sex. No, that's
That's Emily's autobiography.
literally
Right.
my life.
Exactly.
No, that's one of the things I read when he was talking about what really inspires him to do everything that he does was just a love of the 50s and rockabilly, 60s, kind of doo-wop culture, but
Well, he was obsessed with Little Richard, if I remember correctly.
It does. He
Oh,
does.
yes.
In Role Models, he talks about his interview with him, which is pretty funny.
Nice.
yeah, it's his obsession with that culture, but how sleazy and how delinquent can I make what I already love?
Yeah.
Which is basically why he's my favorite. I base my life around that.
When you can see that in so many of his, especially Crybaby, but other films as
Yeah.
well, where there's that kind of 50s kind of thing.
Where women still
going.
get dressed up to go out,
Yeah.
Pink Flamingos, that wasn't the case, and all the other ones, that wasn't the case, but they were still all dressed up in nice clothes to go out.
Fancier than you
Even to
should
go
be.
steal a
Yeah.
T-bone in betwixt your legs while leaving the store.
As you do.
Right.
You were wearing a mink stole. Oh, Mink stole.
No.
But I mean, even like the music is part of Pink Flamingos. It's a totally different thing, but the entire soundtrack is like Link Ray, Little Richard, all the classics.
What we need is a soundtrack DJ'd by Kid Congo Powers on a new John Waters movie, and everything would be just like the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Or just Kid Congo in a John Waters movie. No, Kid Congo Powers playing John Waters in a biopic.
I don't know if anybody could play John Waters.
I don't know. Kid Congo could get close. He's got the mustache.
He has the mustache already.
He looks.
I don't know who that is. I'm gonna admit that.
Kid Congo Powers. He in the Pink Monkey Birds. He was in Gun Club. He was in The Cramps.
Nick Cave in the Bad Seeds.
What was he in the what?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the guy that's been in everything, and
in the Gun Club, he I think he was he wasn't the one that wrote "She's Like Heroin to Me." That was actually about what's her face from Cramps, but
no,
Poison
that's
Ivy?
for the
Poison
Love of
Ivy.
Ivy.
This is the point.
That was the other dude, but he's been in a bunch of projects, and he is an absolute blast. And he's this like gangly, tall, pencil mustache gay man.
Yeah.
And he's amazing. And he actually DJ'd at Banditos a couple years ago for their Christmas party, and it was fucking wonderful.
Yeah, his band came through. They were great.
I got a picture of this was when Anthony was out of town in
mask
in
days?
North Carolina, where I had the little giant heads cutouts of Anthony, and I got a picture of Kid Congo.
Oh, yeah, that one.
There's one right up there. I got a picture of Kid Congo like making a kissy face at one of the things.
Yeah, he did that 2 years in a row because I saw him do it the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It's a blast. But
I want him to come back.
I think I want to talk a little bit after we're done with the break about kind of how I see my love of the Cramps being a perfect example on why I love.
Perfect.
Take a look
Why I
at
love
my
John
look of
Waters so
joy.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
It's a good association.
it's the same kind of thing.
same thing.
It is.
So we'll talk about that and also what we're drinking, and we got a little bit of dialogue that we're going to be reading in our new segment.
Yeah.
Called.
I'm excited. I don't know, how are you going to cast everybody?
We're going to do that on the break, but we're going to do something called Making a Drunken Scene after the
I'll
break
just
and
be John
after we do what
Waters.
we're drinking. So for all of those watching, we're going to be back at 9:30. So set your Swatch watches. We'll be back at 9:30.
We're officially 30 minutes past. My son is officially 24 hours old.
Look at that.
Ooh. Hey, also, hi Hillary.
Hi, Hillary.
Hi, Hillary.
We promised
If
we'd
you
say
made it this
something.
far, she probably turned it off. after
Honey,
probably
I don't know
10
if you're
minutes.
watching. Yeah, I'm a hot mess. Sorry.
But thank you guys so much for watching and listening. We'll be back after the break. Stay tuned.
Thank you, guys.
I got a question for you. What you doing on the 18th of February? Well, I'll tell you. You're coming to Broadberry for Breaking Silence, a Richmond YWCA benefit sponsored by the guys at Lucky 13. They decided for their 13-year anniversary, instead of throwing some fest, they are throwing a benefit for the YWCA, who has been around for 130 years. This is a way for you to rock out with bands such as the Hellhounds, Venus Skytrap, Mistaker, and the Octane Saints coming out of retirement to play this show. It's $10 in advance. Just look up the Breaking Silence, a Richmond YWCA benefit on Facebook, and go through the link to Ticketfly to get your tickets for $10 a piece. 18th of February. Come out. You'll see a bunch of the panelists rocking out right along with you for charity.
Hey guys, thank you for watching the GUI podcast. This is Nick from Instant Replay Live. I get plugged here a lot, and I'm being allowed to do it myself this time. I'm going to plug myself as much as I can. You can check out our Twitter at INST Replay Live. I'm going to plug myself again. I'm plugging myself in front of all these guys right here. You can find us on YouTube if you search for Instant Replay Live, or youtube.com/c/Instant Replay Live, or at instantReplayLive.com. We do video games, we do tabletop role-playing games, and we do reviews and all kinds of other stuff. So check us out.
Totsky from the YMN podcast. Big fans of Geeks Under the Influence. Talk about all the same shit, so definitely check us out, ymnpodcast.com.
This is Mike the Hobbit, direct from Fallout on a trivia night, telling you to come here every first and third Monday for trivia between 8 and 10, 25-cent wings, drink specials, prizes, and tons of really inappropriate trivia. It's a lot of fun. Do you guys agree? Definitely come out and enjoy trivia every first and third Monday at Fallout. In addition to Fallout, Geeks Under the Influence takes over Wonderland on the corner of 18th and Main Street for Geeks Under the Influence trivia every second and fourth Tuesday. So come and check it out. Ridiculous trivia, goofy music, great food, cheap drinks on the corner of 18th and Main Street, 1727 East Main. Come and check us out 8 to 10 every second and fourth Tuesday. share.
loves that shit.
You
It
get-
is like
You're
Share for
sharing.
a little bit.
I love it when you share your fluids with me.
Oh, well.
as soon
you
as
know.
she hears the word Korean, she goes.
Wait, what's she like? One more time.
She's like when she hears Korean.
Like
She
Mary
goes,
J. Blige on an album? What?
That is not MJB.
Oh, well, shit. Okay.
Schooled.
Fuck.
Welcome back, guys. Thank
Way
you
to kick
for
nothing.
joining us for the second half of Geeks Under the Influence. We're done with our break
Got
part,
it.
so we drank a little bit more beer, talked a little bit more bullshit, and we're back for the second half of John Waters. Before we get into all the sleaze side of John Waters, we're going to talk about what we are drinking and also do a little bit of line reading, a little table reading from Crybaby.
Oh, can this be used for auditions, by the way?
Yeah, absolutely. If there's
Sweet.
any talent people out there that for some reason are watching this dumb bullshit,
I will
then
literally do anything for money.
There's
Oh,
there's
really?
the title.
right. Next up on Casting Couch so yeah, we're shooting for this
Very
calendar,
silent
and
surgery.
you know, but I decided to bring a share that was I think very appropriate for the John Waters episode. It's the Dewclaw Dirty Little Freak. Dewclaw comes from Baltimore, so that
Nice.
alone makes it very very appropriate. I'm trying to look for the ABV here. 5.8, so it's not going to kick you in the dick. It's not a dick kicker, as we've determined on other.
Dick in the dirt.
No
I'm
dick in the dirt.
uninterested then.
No.
Take the shit.
You don't
But
want that on one
it's
of
a
ours.
very flavorful beer. This is a coconut and caramel porter.
Oh shit.
I
Yeah.
am excited.
Why
Yeah,
is this?
so-
why has this not touched my lips yet?
Give it a tasty
Can we
taste.
just go ahead and take? Okay.
Put it in your mouth.
Why is he not tasting it?
Anthony doesn't drink anything
not a
with
beer
bubbles.
Oh
No
my
bubbles.
dear God!
That
You
is
could,
delicious.
The low ABV on this, and you could get so fucked because you just keep drinking it all
That's
night.
like a slow drinker. That's like
Yeah.
a sip. A
Tastes
sipping.
like that Girl Scout cookie, the good one.
The
the
Samoa.
Samoa.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
a little bit. Yeah.
Don't fuck with me and Samoas, man.
I'm gonna
get
crush them
down
up in
on
this
them,
shit.
man.
Just eat it like cereal.
Well, I'll
No,
tell you-
just like put it on the glass like a lemon wedge.
No, I get it.
I can see you with, like-
I'm offended because that makes more sense than my cookie beer cereal.
Oh, well, your face was so angry that I thought
Yeah,
I said
'cause
something
I'm
wrong.
upset.
Ladies,
that I didn't think
you
of
do
that.
it like the margaritas where you crush it up and put it on the rim of the glass.
Or that. I mean, no,
Okay,
that's
yeah. No, I
stupid.
fuck with
That's
that.
just stupid. It's not going to
Actually,
stick.
one of the weirdest rim on the glass situations, which
Oh,
is
really?
totally needs to be a
A
sex
rim on
move,
the glass situation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, rim
Oh.
on- yeah.
Mike knows a lot about
Was
women.
Indulge me.
was the
Yes, he
Three
does.
Notch Brewing Company Biggie S'mores beer.
What? Yes,
They
that's
have
awesome.
Biggie S'mores where it's like a s'mores kind of flavor, and they took gingerbread and they crushed it up and
baby,
put
baby.
chocolate on the rim and then dipped it in graham crack graham cracker. I think it was.
Gingerbread?
Or gingerbread. Yeah, gingerbread.
gingerbread, yeah.
And,
Wait, what? That doesn't make sense with s'mores.
No,
so
it
would be
was
graham
graham cracker.
crackers.
It was
Yeah.
graham cracker.
All right.
And that was like the
Get it right.
the dusted rim of the Biggie S'mores. It was really good until it got soggy as you were drinking it, and then that
That's
got
why you
kinda
gotta do
weird,
like
but-
the.
Why you gotta talk about shit being
All the way
dusted
around?
again?
Sounds very tasty, though.
the dusty dick beer.
The dusty dick beer.
Yeah.
That's
Dick in
what
the
it is
dust
now.
beer.
I'm sure
Dusty
for-
boners. Hitting the
I'm
dusty
sure Three
boner.
Knots
Gotta
would
get out of here.
love
I'm about to
that
hit the
we called
dusty
her
boner
that.
trail.
Yeah.
Hit the
Been
old
fun. But I
dusty
gotta
boner
hit
trail.
the old dusty boner. Gotta get out of here.
Get off your horse and walk into the bar.
So, what do we think about this beer? It's
It's delicious.
it's really
It is.
tasty.
Yeah.
It's really good, and you know what? I don't like very heavy beer, but this is like nice sipping beer.
For
This
being
is a good
being
winter
a
beer.
darker for being a darker beer. It's
Yeah, I
actually
generally
pretty
don't
light.
like it.
Yeah.
I generally don't like darker beer, but this
Right.
is like
Same.
tasty.
See, I come from
I'm
the
gonna
other
chug it.
direction where I love dark
Yeah,
beer. I
chug
love
everything.
porters.
Well, yeah.
I love stouts. But this beer is very tasty. As much as I'm not really big on like flavored beers where it's like candy-ish beers.
Yeah.
It's not overplayed
Artificial
coconut
flavoring.
or caramel.
Well, I don't
It's-
feel a sugar rush when I'm taking a
exactly.
sip. Yeah.
It's there and it's
Yeah, it's not
a
overplayed.
touch of
Yeah.
sweet, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's very drinkable. I could have a couple of these and be very happy, but I don't know if I would like drink this all night.
This
No,
would
no,
be
no.
a
No.
fancy dessert beer, if you will.
But I feel like
Yeah.
you could identify those flavors, though.
Oh, very much.
Like
Yeah.
what you were saying, like if you hadn't said it to me previously, so I knew what to expect, I feel like I could identify caramel and coconut.
Do
yeah,
it,
it's
Grutz.
very prevalent.
do it. It's good.
Smells good.
You'd have a
little
better
tasty.
opinion than your
Tasty
wife,
too.
who would just say it tastes like beer and coconut.
Indeed.
You want to try it?
Peer pressure.
Just touch it to
Just
your
a
lips.
just a
This is a little slurpy slurp. He likes it.
It doesn't
Mikey
taste like
likes it.
wine or bourbon, so
Mikey
He likes it. He likes
It's not
it.
terrible. I just don't do carbonation.
yeah.
That's my
Fucking
thing.
That's
snob-ass
insane.
motherfucker.
Yeah, it is insane.
Knob and ass.
No, it's conditioning.
Yeah, it is conditioning.
My mother, like when I was young, convinced myself and all my other
There you
brothers that carbonation soda was bad, and it
My
stuck.
mom didn't let me drink soda either, but I didn't think that it was bad. I didn't have an aversion to it.
It just
Didn't ruin your life.
didn't ruin my
it's
damn life.
it's mental conditioning.
It was
And-
weird Nazi mental conditioning
Yeah.
that they put him through.
basically, yeah.
But besides that, I'm drinking on the High Life because I usually tend to. Next to me, Scotty P, what are you drinking on besides the Dirty Little Freak?
Well, since Lowdown was in here, I had to settle for you putting you in my mouth.
Okay.
So, fair enough. But
I'm cool with being a soft
Natty
second.
Bo, but
Yeah.
that's you're paying
Just called
homage
yourself a
to the
soft.
Baltimore area, Natty
That's
Bo.
nice.
That's true. Well, and I did actually look up that apparently Natty Bo is not always necessarily made in Baltimore, but the intention was Natty Bo was one of the greats, like, besides John Waters, to me, one of the only good things to come out of Baltimore.
Definitely not the Ravens.
Every time I think
Yeah,
I
exactly.
see every time I see Natty Bo, I think Baltimore.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it is still a staple up there, and I throw it on all the naysayers about, like, PBR and other beers like that. A good, cheap beer is still a good beer.
True.
Hey, I don't drink beer.
He
so
just hates
carbonation.
carbonation.
I'm not gonna shit on any beer in
You just hate
particular.
carbonation.
Exactly.
Cheap beer is still beer. Does it get you drunk? Drink it.
It'll
Right.
get you drunk.
Not my thing, but I don't.
Speaking of your thing,
I
you,
still love you.
So what are you drinking?
Grutz, you brought some thematic bottles of wine
I
here
did.
tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
What do
did
you
indeed.
What do you bring for John
appropriate
Waters?
There might be a
labeled
butt
wine.
chug involved
I,
tonight. I don't know.
I started out with the bitch red.
Many
I
of
love
my
to start
friends
out
had
with
that
a
at their
bitch.
baby
It's-
shower and bachelorette party.
That's
Congrats,
right.
my friend.
It's a Grenache from Spain. It's all right, but the coup de grace here that I love is the chocolate box.
Yes.
Which is the greatest reference to my favorite weirdo gay man of all time, John Waters.
You're just assuming that he's eaten asshole before. That's kind of inappropriate, sir.
Dude,
Show me someone who has
chocolate box is amazing. Okay?
it. Oh, I thought you were going for a high five. I was like, hell yeah.
No, I was raising my hand for having not eaten asshole.
No.
I
Chocolate
don't know
box.
where your night's going, but it's probably going there.
Are we going to
right.
have to never have I ever the situation?
I gotta go.
Please, not on the World Wide
We're
Web.
about to have a Jaws moment here, I think.
You're right.
Right?
I gotta plead the fifth.
Show permanent injuries from sexual
Oh,
involvement.
you know it.
My mom is watching.
Hi, Ann. Sorry.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, chocolate box is Shiraz out of Australia, and it's actually really damn good. And
I still think it would be appropriate if you butt chug the chocolate box.
I'm with you.
Is
Yeah.
butt
I've
chug
been going
just
for that.
sticking
Okay,
the
no,
straight
that
bottle
is
up there,
definitely-
or is there kind of a hose situation?
I'm sorry, that
Oh,
that
no
is.
hose.
I cannot
The
imagine
bottle. Yeah.
something else coming out that is going to be better for the title of the episode than butt chugging the chocolate box.
butt chugging the chocolate box.
I
The
had some
John
good
Waters
ones.
episode.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah.
to be honest, I think your wife would love you more. I think she would.
To be
She
honest,
might.
I don't have a wife.
Yet.
All right, Emily, what are you drinking on besides the share?
It's Krabby's raspberry ginger beer.
And how is it?
Ginger is shit.
Ginger as shit.
Yeah, I love ginger, but I didn't realize it was gonna be that ginger. You can even
Okay.
taste the
It's
raspberry.
ginger beer, home dog.
Well, yeah, but I feel like I'm gnawing on a piece of ginger. It's too much.
I love gnawing
So
on a
your,
piece of
your
ginger.
stomach
personally.
is like super smooth right now.
Yeah,
very
it makes your stomach and ovaries shout woohoo.
Okay.
Nothing
I'll
like
just drop the mic
woohoo
down.
ovaries.
See if you can pick it up.
Right?
Now, all right, and if I can, can I see the label real quick?
Oh yeah.
All right, Krabby's.
It's good if you're
I
making a
was-
It's
Moscow
good.
Mule.
It's just-
If you're making a
that's a
Moscow
lot.
Mule, use the regular Krabbies.
I was gonna say like throwing the crab in there for like Baltimore to try to bring it back around, but the label
She didn't
ruined
think
it.
about
and
it.
no.
I
Yeah.
am not smart enough to think that
No,
far. I
not
was
a
just
worry.
like,
It's fine.
Take it.
And Ms. Robin, what are you drinking on besides the share here?
I'm drinking Crispin, which is one of my all-time favorite ciders, because I don't like the real sweet ones, because, Angry Orchard's real popular now.
Yeah, but it
Too
is a little
sweet.
too sweet.
It's way sweet. Crispin's like an English cider.
It's not woodchuck sweet, but it's still pretty sweet.
Woodchuck,
I can't.
hate Woodchuck.
No,
can
can't
do
do it.
Angry Orchard sometimes, but Crispin is my go-to.
Angry
cider.
Orchard actually does make a good dry, which is not very sweet, which is really good.
I don't know if
A
I've had
dry?
the dry.
Yeah, they have a dry one.
I've never tried
When
it.
did they come up with that? I've
Personally, I
never tried
don't
that.
tend to like it
You know,
dry.
my favorite
so-
cider is Original Sin.
I do.
Oh.
You don't
No,
like
that
it?
is Original Sin is the best.
Original
You
Sin
don't
is
like
like
it dry?
champagne apple cider. It is the bomb.
Oh.
It's from New York.
Honey.
Yeah, it's the best.
We'll talk about dry.
Plus, you can get it at Fine Foods.
You can get it at Fine Foods.
At Fine Foods?
Everything's Fine Foods.
Oh,
Everything's
okay.
gonna be Fine Foods, guys.
New sponsor. Done.
Speaking of beers, a number of our panelists went to our normal spot that we normally go to, Once Upon a Vine in Northside. It's right down the street from the studio. And apparently, Anthony has the story about the owner.
I was almost late.
Well,
Because of this owner.
indeed. So do these girls. The owner, he was like, "What are you looking for?" And I was like, "Hey, well, we're doing a radio show later about John Waters, and I wanted to find something kind of like theme specific." And he was like, "Oh, I know John Waters." He's
And not like I know of him. But
and I know him. He's been at my house. Like when I used to live in Maryland, he came over for dinner a few times because my, sister-in-law, is that what it was?
Yeah.
His sister.
His
It's the
sister.
sister-in-law.
I thought he said it was just. Oh, whatever.
I don't know. Yeah. She was the nurse in fucking Female Trouble.
Jesus
And
Christ.
I'm
He
like,
said
holy
lady
shit.
trouble at first.
Yeah.
So,
Lady Trouble.
He said women. He said woman trouble.
That
and
was
lady
it.
trouble.
woman
Woman
trouble.
trouble.
That's what
That
he said.
was it.
He said woman trouble.
And we're
You
like,
know-
wait, like for period? What?
Yeah.
Them
And-
woman's troubles.
So a little
Lady
bit of a local
problems.
connection,
Like your gym teacher when you were in high school.
But I have noticed that with
Woman troubles.
with Richmond and Baltimore, there's definitely like kind of a
There's a
Richmond,
connect.
Richmond in Florida and Richmond in Baltimore are like the two main bastions of there's so many people that
There
move to
is,
Florida
yeah.
or move from Florida
From
to
To
Yeah.
from
Richmond.
back forth.
Like
Yeah.
Florida.
It's just weird, but yeah, Baltimore. There's definitely a really like big relationship between Baltimore and Richmond, and I think personally, a lot of it I see from like the old punk rock days, where a lot of the bands from Baltimore came down to Richmond all the time, or the Richmond
Right.
bands used to go up to Baltimore
Absolutely.
and DC, kind of in between because nobody wanted to hang out in DC, so they go to
Nobody
Baltimore
does,
or
yeah.
Richmond.
Nobody wants to hang
No,
out.
no.
Right.
Still
Sorry,
to this
guys.
Day.
Sorry, DC.
There was a DC punk rock scene, obviously, but,
Yeah.
nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah, and I was really angry because everybody there lived in DC and they were pissed off about it.
Exactly.
That's why they were so
Basically,
pumped.
yeah.
Yeah. But there's definitely crossover that I'm sure there's people that were friends with John Waters that are just like your neighbor in Richmond somewhere that's like,
Right.
I helped dress Divine in Female Trouble or something. I helped with the outfits or something, something
Sure.
weird.
Yeah.
But that's the fun thing of living so close to such an icon is that you've got those weird stories that the guy that owns the place that you buy booze from, had dinner with John Waters when
Right.
back in the day.
Well, it's also
was a
that
nice
John
man.
Waters is so goddamn accessible.
Yeah.
He's such a regular dude.
He makes himself accessible, which is
Oh,
nice.
yeah, he
He
does.
does. And, so yeah.
Well, to the point, I emailed his agency that he goes through, going into this episode like earlier this week because I didn't even think to do it before then because it seemed like a non-get.
Yeah.
But I figured, what the hell?
So out of reach, you're like, why try?
Yeah, because it's John Waters.
But then you tried anyway.
It's
And
one of
last
those-
minute, fuck it.
Fuck it, why not?
You're a go-getter.
But I will tell you that
Good boy.
very nice lady contacted me like 2 days later and said that he's out of town, he's not available at the moment, but John Waters will be in Richmond in December for another spoken word deal, one of his Christmas shows that she put it, and hopefully
it's Christmas he's working.
nothing specifically on the books. We're waiting for dates to be nailed down and everything, but we're hoping that we might actually get an interview with the man come December. So,
Boing.
yeah, so
exactly.
I will
So
pee
we
my
shall see.
pants.
That was my boner popping up, just to clarify.
So stay tuned.
Swing.
Stay tuned to our social media, especially around December, if you're a giant John Waters fan, because there's a chance that we might actually be able to get a sit down with the man. Fingers crossed. So we shall see.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Done and done.
yeah. So that's what we're drinking. That's the end of that.
Alcohol.
Now let's get into the fun part of well, not that this wasn't fun before, but the sleaze of John Waters.
Let's get a touch of the sleeves.
a little bit of the sleaze.
These.
The
John
sneeze?
Waters is known as the King of Trash. Is one
Pope.
of his Oh, the Pope of Trash.
Pope
I'm
of
sorry,
Trash.
the Pope of Trash. He's known as the guy that approaches sleaze and trash art like people approach high art. That's he puts it in such a high form, as such a respect that it makes people that normally wouldn't even think of sleaze as anything they wanted to be associated with, makes them kind of give it a second thought. Because there's so much appreciation for it, so much love, and it comes from somebody that's well-read, well educated.
Very well.
Although a lot of it independently educated, but he's a smart fucking dude. He went to NYU for a little bit, like for a second, and then got kicked out for like weed or something. But he's very educated. He's very, very well-spoken, very well-read, and he looks at sleaze like a high art form. And
Absolutely.
Well,
if it's approached
It ain't
right,
easy being sleazy.
no, it's not.
he's
Telling
also
me.
also stylish as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
That guy makes me want to wear suits all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He-
With Van slip-ons.
Well, he goes way into
Yes.
that in role models about Comme des Garçons. It's the designer who I can't remember her name, but she's a Japanese woman. About how it's like really disheveled clothing that's like purposely distressed and like ripped out seams and all that.
Yeah.
He goes a lot into fashion. He's really into fashion.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But what I like about the fashion is he's not like the catwalk fashion person where he's got his own style, and he's had his own style since
Oh,
like
yes.
the
Yes.
late 60s.
Yeah, and he
It's
encourages
actually-
finding your own trademark. Like, it's
Absolutely.
just
Yeah, it's
that.
actually weird to see
Exactly.
pictures of him at one point where you're like, he's wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Is this the same guy?
Yeah.
You know, what?
Was he
What?
very sick that day?
Yeah, right.
Was he sick?
He must have not been feeling very well and just sort of got up out of bed and
Like
did
somebody
his
took a
thing, you
picture
know?
of him when he was taking the trash out or something.
Right.
Although I would totally assume that John Waters puts on a suit before he takes the trash out.
Oh,
would've seen that.
truth.
For some reason, I would just picture like a silky pink robe.
At least
would be
Or
like
like
the
silk
trash
pajamas,
takeout,
or like
Or like
Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris's character from How I Met Your Mother, where he's got like a
Yes.
silk like suit.
The pajama suit
Pajama
thing.
suit,
Yes.
yeah.
That.
a smoking jacket or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
on.
he's
absolutely.
not Hugh
Look.
Hefner. Come on.
No.
No, but
it
John
would
Waters,
look good.
I guarantee you, he's got at least 3 smoking jackets. There's no way that man does not.
Smoking
Well,
jacket.
maybe
Man,
we can
he
confirm
has-
that in December.
Yeah, maybe.
He's got a goddamn closet of those things. Come on, you know that.
That's actually maybe the first question I'll ask him is, listeners want to know.
How many smoking jackets?
How
jackets?
many smoking jackets do you have?
Do you have one for different occasions? What's the deal here? Give me a rundown.
I
of
know
your
you
day.
don't smoke anymore, but
That's not even a matter of like to wear so your shit doesn't get stinky
it's
besides
just
the
fashion.
jacket. It's just
Yeah,
fashion.
I get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and I'll even play off that where just how stylish this guy can be is my wife. She had it before we were even dating. That book that it shows his house about
I
how
love
he's
that
decorated his house,
book.
and he has fake food.
Fake
randomly-
food, yes,
Yes.
his
just
fake food
randomly
collection. That's
placed
my
throughout his
favorite.
house.
He collects like little or any kind of fake food stuff.
Yep. Like you walk in to use the toilet, and there's like bacon and eggs sitting
Yeah.
just chilling on the back of the toilet.
the thing is, that's the stuff that you would assume that
It's like a coffee table book. It's
the
like a big.
crazy
Yeah.
like
I was gonna bring it.
85-year-old like neighbor that her husband died like 25 years ago and she's not all there. You'd walk in and it's like, I have this fake bacon. And you're like, of course you do. And it smells like mothballs in here. But it's John Waters, so suddenly it's like
It's cool.
It's
it's
artistic
kitschy
as
and
fuck
weird
and
and
just-
artistic.
yeah.
And
Anything he does, you're like, I didn't think it was cool, but now I kind of want
It's
to do
kinda
that.
cool.
Yeah, like art
Yeah.
collecting. He talks about like extensively about his art collection, stuff like that. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, oh well, that's cool.
Yeah, you look at this book, you're like, why didn't the fuck did I do my house like that?
Yeah, you're
God
like, why
damn
didn't
it.
I collect fake food?
I just assumed like one
For
of
all of my
our
life.
previous panelists from the Trauma episode, Chris Manick, I just assumed that he's trying to make his house look as cool as John Waters. He thinks John Waters' house is. Lots of leopard print, lime
The
green.
think, yeah.
Chris?
think. Yeah.
When was
is the
Chris on
operative-
the show?
He was on Trauma episode we did
Oh,
a
yeah.
little ways back. Yeah.
His if Chris ever dies, I mean he's gonna die, as we all are. But his coffin, I assure you, will be trimmed in leopard print and then plaid
Oh, yeah.
on the
Absolutely.
outside. Leopard print and then plaid.
The handles will be studded,
Yeah.
And he'll be in a Hawaiian shirt
obviously.
Oh, sweet baby Chris.
with his little boatman's
Chris.
cap.
Sorry, Chris.
Oh boy.
But speaking of the schlock and the weirdness, we talked about before the break. my comparison to the Cramps and John Waters. And why I think that's such a good comparison is that the Cramps were all about being larger than life and weird and being their own style and doing it their own way. And it was very sleazy and schlocky. And I think fits perfectly. Schlocky.
Look it up. It's
use
legit.
that in a sentence.
You just did.
Yeah.
Another sentence.
A new sentence.
This isn't a spelling bee.
Yeah, no, can you use it in a sentence? Like, I can spell schlocky without using a sentence. Like,
sorry, continue.
Schlock is a state of extreme weirdness.
Extreme ridiculousness, I would say.
It can exist in movies, in
over the top
sci-fi or horror. It's just out of control. Schlock is just nuts. It's exploitation to the
wall.
to the nth degree.
Balls to the wall. I learned a new word.
Trauma is very much schlock most of the time because it's
Definitely.
out of control, crazy. John Waters oftentimes is. When you have a drag queen eating shit, that's definitely in the schlock
that
category.
Is schlock.
Oh.
Yeah, that is schlock.
Might be the definition.
Is it schlock or is it knock?
Knock? What?
It was a joke. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Moving forward.
But the Cramps, though.
But dem Cramps, though.
Dem Cramps.
About dem Cramps,
But
though.
what is it about the super kitschy, super, so ugly it's really cool kind of aesthetic that John Waters and the Cramps and all of that has? What is it that draws us forward with it?
It's like that kind of famous quote he has about bad taste. Like, kind of the reason why I got that part of that quote on me is there's good bad taste and there's bad taste. He goes for so bad that it's good because, I don't know, it's like when you've seen everything, how far can you take it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, how could a group make shiny pleather and high heels just be wonderful?
Because
it's always wonderful.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's persona.
It's owning it.
Well, it's
coming up with this
owning
crazy
it is
idea,
everything.
owning the fuck out of it.
Well, much like John Waters, the Cramps pay homage to things that came before that they really love. Okay, so the Cramps, they covered half the greatest songs from unknown artists from rockabilly, history. These great, Charlie Feathers, all these guys that didn't get a lot of play, and they made the fucking music, known again. The people that listened to them, they were like, oh, what is this? And you go back and listen. I have found so many records through the Cramps.
Sure.
And that's the same thing with John Waters because
you're
watching John Waters movies and he's referencing all this stuff from
his soundtracks,
back in the day, his soundtracks, his film styles, Ted McKell's, all these Blood Feast, Oh
shit! He was in Blood Feast too because he was such a big fan of Herschel Gordon
It's
Lewis.
all these old movies that are just iconic, but maybe a lot of people didn't see, and he's paying homage and he's bringing it back, So yeah.
And this is something that Emily and I were actually talking about on the way over, because she was talking about how perfect all of his soundtracks to his movies are, and if you read his book, especially in Car Sick, which I just re-listened to, he kind of sets up he does I don't know if everybody's read Car Sick, but it's he does a potentially from hitchhiking from Baltimore to San Francisco, the best scenario and then the worst scenario and then what actually happened. So with every one of those, when he gets into the car, he says what song is playing on the radio. So music is definitely a huge influence in his movies and everything.
Well, you can tell that almost by the directing choices that he makes, that music is an additional character in his movies. And some of my favorite directors, that's always been the case, where if you're talking Star Wars, where the soundtrack is an additional character.
Or Tarantino. He does the same
same
especially
thing.
Old
Kevin
school
Smith.
music.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, a lot of them use...
You got to write to the
music.
beats that you understand.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that more, not so much Star Wars because that's a score.
Yeah.
But Tarantino, Guy Ritchie.
Oh, fuck
big time.
Yeah.
Anybody that's using music that's already been made, like pop culture music, like all kinds of stuff.
Well, shit, James Gunn and Guardians.
Sure.
Absolutely pulled that shit.
You know, and just tying the music into the feel of the movie is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that scene in Pink Flamingos where she's walking down the street to Girl Can't Help It.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Yes, that's how
It perfectly sets up that character so much. Not to mention it's one of the
And
greatest
it's like,
fucking songs
but
ever.
the song's not necessarily the song itself, or not necessarily like the scene itself, but the words and the way that the song is so clear about the feeling of the scene.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
It's like he knew exactly how to pair.
Yeah, I wanted
everything
to go out and
that he loved.
stick a T-bone in betwixt my legs.
Because the girl can't help it. She can't
Can't
help
help
putting
it.
this
I
T-bone
can't help
between
it.
her legs.
I can't help it.
Born
Shoplift
please,
a
you know
T-bone.
I mean, fair.
Girl can't help it.
I would be interested to
Shoplift
find
a
out whether or
T-bone?
not, if I could fit a T-bone between my legs. That
I guarantee you could.
Probably.
But you
also,
would have to wear a skirt. You can't do it just like bare pants.
It wouldn't be the first time I wore a skirt. I was a punk in the 90s. No, I didn't wear like I didn't wear like a micro mini. I wore this like long flowing
skirt,
like
the old
floral
school punk girl.
No, I wore this like floral patterned like ankle length dress
Mike.
because I went my senior year at
you thought you were
Waynesboro High
Courtney
School.
Love?
No, I actually just wanted to freak out all the fucking douchebags in Waynesboro that thought that I was gay because I had a mohawk. So
Like, yes, I am.
I just wore a dress and I was like, what do you think now?
That was the next ringtone.
What?
What she did. I want that ringtone.
Okay. All right, I'll
Please.
work on
It's on
that.
your text
Yes.
message notification.
Yes.
Yeah, music has always been a big part of John
Yeah.
Waters' films,
Absolutely.
and honestly, a lot of that stems from his appreciation of like surf and 1950s music and everything, to the point where even films that are set in a modern era, like Pecker or Cecil B. Demented, has a little bit of that kind of like surf movie kind of feel to it, where everybody's dancing on the beach kind of a tone. It's got a little bit of that, and I think he's owned it, his own version of it, because of his experiences growing up being appreciative of that. So, and that stems from those stupid Frankie and Annette
I was
beach
about to
blanket
say
bingo.
Beach blanket bingo.
Yeah,
would
totally.
Be perfect,
Those.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Frankie Avalon movies. Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
Yes, and also just like the really just for the 50s at least skeezy movies like 50s, 60s, like Faster Pussycat, all that. That obviously was a huge influence on it.
The film
the
versions
teenage
of pulp
delinquent,
novels.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Pulp novel stuff. Like clearly that
Clearly.
inspired so much.
Oh,
Sure.
of course, especially Crybaby. I mean, when
Well,
they were,
yeah, but I mean Hairspray too. I mean, like the soundtrack to that is like very early 60s. Like
Yeah, and
just
throwing
everything
throwing
about like
just
that.
touch of Motown.
Yeah.
With the Hairspray.
Oh,
yeah.
that was good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But what else we got? We talked a little bit about his books. Before we get into the books, we have a little reading for you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do
Have you
that.
done one of these before? Is
Yeah,
this
we've
the-
done this before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm catching up.
Yeah,
catching up.
this is actually the second time we've done this. First one was last week with Pixar that we did a bit from Inside Out.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I've never even seen that.
Of course, Lowdown Brown was anger. So
Lowdown Doo-Doo Brown.
yeah.
That's his new name.
Yeah.
It's official.
Yep.
I don't even know
Facebook
who I'm
official.
talking about. Oh, I love Steven.
Yeah, Steven's great.
Steven.
Everybody's got their characters.
Yeah, we
Yes.
got our characters figured out. Okay, so this is a scene from Crybaby. This new segment on Geeks Under the Influence is known as Making a Drunken Scene, where everybody reading their characters can make whatever voice choice they want, whether it's doing an impression or an accent or just trying to read it like the actual character, whatever you want to do. So you guys get
Here we
your
go.
process going. Like, work it out. Here we go. Yeah, get ready.
Okay.
All right. and
Whoa.
Wait,
Calm
who's
down.
being Crybaby?
I think Anthony's,
Crybaby.
Okay,
Anthony's
got
doing
it.
Crybaby. I'm Milton, so I'm
I
gonna
just
be.
want to know who to direct my lust at.
Yeah.
All right.
Bring on the lust.
Okay, and I'll also because I only have one line at the very beginning, I will read the dialogue part for Lenora about the boobs. I'll read that before the line's delivered.
Oh.
So okay. So
Got it.
So here we go. Starting with Milton Hackett. Looks like somebody lost their laundry.
Hi, crybaby. You scorched me, man.
Later, Lenora.
But crybaby, I need a date for tonight's jukebox jamboree.
Well, I'm solo, sugar.
Offering to show her breasts.
Want to see these gunboats? I give, crybaby. I give Bear second on the first date.
Use your mentality and cool down.
Yeah, Lenora, your bosoms ain't nothing.
You better watch out, Bojo. You might catch a cold.
Oh, there's no pepper.
My brother wouldn't touch
you,
your
bitch.
titties with a 10-foot pole.
He likes his women bad, Lenora, not cheap.
Sorry, I wrote this out when Lowdown was supposed to be here. So there's the sixth one we didn't count for. But yeah, that is from Crybaby. That is our interpretation of our terrible and not
Clearly
nearly as
we're
good
drunk.
Long live
interpretation.
Hatchet Face.
So this will be continuing because
masterpiece.
I think it's hilarious segment of Geeks Under the Influence, making a drunken scene. So you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
We did it.
And again, the woman who played Hatchet Face was a lawyer.
Oh my God, she was so brilliant, especially because she was obviously 20 years older than the like tall, gangly fucking rock and roll dude that she was like
Her
hooking up with.
boyfriend, her
Yeah.
boyfriend Milton was like,
He was like 19 or something.
Yeah, he was young. Barely legal.
Barely legal, and she's
Barely
like
legal rockabilly.
she's like 38 and divorced with like 2 kids. And like,
She was fucking amazing.
oh, she was
Oh,
fucking.
yeah, it was great.
She made the fucking a lot of things made that movie, but Hatchet Face was definitely one of the highlights of that film.
next to rockabilly Johnny Depp.
Ooh, yeah. Cry, baby. Why you gotta cry? Now, I want to get into the literature side of John Waters before we get really into his iconography in schlock. He's written a few books, but not only has he written a few books, but he's a straight up bibliophile. He is to the point where all the walls in his house are covered in bookshelves, and he's run out of room because he reads constantly. And
If they don't have books, don't fuck them.
yeah, that's his major line. If you go to somebody's house for sex and they don't have books, don't fuck them.
Got to make reading cool again.
I mean, gonna make reading cool
I mean,
again.
if they can't read, don't fuck them is a good rule to live by.
Yes.
Well, I
That's
guess
what I'm going to teach
Wait,
my kids.
do comic books count?
Negatively,
No.
yes.
Negatively?
But neggy points with me in this one.
Ouch.
Sorry about it, guys. Love you, though.
my favorite book that he ever put out was it was kind of like it's not a novel. It's not a, whatever. It's Unwatchable. It was a big book that he put out. That was about like a lot of his like background movie stuff that I fucking adored. It was all these like Polaroid shots from stuff and just like crazy art stuff that he did in between all of his movies and stuff like that. That's the first thing I got him to sign. And that's still my favorite thing that he's ever done because it's like, in a sense, it's so visual because he's a visual guy being a filmmaker. And, I got a signed copy of Role Models, which was like fucking fantastic.
I love that one. That's my favorite.
But, I wouldn't say Unwatchable is like probably my favorite book of his.
And Robin, you were talking about his hitchhiking book.
That one, yeah, that one's really good. I've read that one more recently. I mean, obviously because it was published more recently, but yeah, it's great because he decides to take a hitchhiking trip from Baltimore to San Francisco, his apartment in San Francisco, and he kind of just bets on the fact that maybe some people recognize him, maybe some people don't. So that's kind of the funny thing, and I don't know, it's a good read because he does the potentially like the best thing that could happen and the worst thing that could happen and what actually happened.
That's a really cool idea.
It's such an interesting take on it.
I've not
and
read
it's like
the book,
some people
but
would legit. He's not so famous that people wouldn't recognize him because a lot of people probably wouldn't recognize him.
Right.
Not
Especially if
necessarily
you're
a household
hitchhiking through
name.
like the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but there's a certain person,
Arkansas?
Yeah.
There's a certain
huge
person
in
that picks
Kansas.
up a guy in a pencil mustache. Like I would absolutely, if I saw some
for
hitchhiker
sure.
that had a pencil mustache, I would pick him up in a fucking second. No problem. I'm like,
And that's
you're not
how
a serial
Mike
killer
died.
because serial killers try to hide that shit. Like,
You're like, wait a minute, is that Maybelline eyeliner? I'm picking you up.
yeah, I'm picking you the fuck up. Yeah, I might, be having my knife nearby just in case, but yeah, no, I would definitely pick him up.
But not to discount Role Models, because Role Models was really good because it kind of goes into him as a person and like his psyche, and he really goes into his fashion sense and his art sense and his different, just like everything. And that one's really
General
good.
inspiration.
General inspiration, yeah. And that one, yeah, it's really good.
I'm with you.
Sorry,
I feel everything you're putting out here, and I really like it.
Thank you.
But I like to the point. He's such a bibliophile that actually all of his fan mail goes through a local bookstore in Baltimore, Atomic Books in Baltimore. If anybody sends him fan mail, they pick up his fan mail. That's where you send it. So if you want to send him a letter, you send it to Atomic Books in Baltimore, Maryland. They collect it for him. And then nice. I'm not sure about his response rate or anything like that. I
do know that he reads and keeps every letter he gets. He doesn't necessarily respond, but
yeah. I mean, he's got other stuff to do. He's a busy man. So, but that leads us to his spoken word stuff.
Right.
I know I was fortunate enough to see him when he came through Richmond a couple years ago, or like a year and a half ago, I think.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it was great.
Fucking phenomenal. Much like some of the other spoken word stuff that I've seen, I was riveted the entire time. Where like sitting having to pee and not wanting to get up to go pee because I didn't want to miss any moment of it. And he was wide open about everything. I mean, even about like his feelings about divine passing and stuff. He was super like open with the crowd. It felt like there's
never a filter.
And there wasn't that separation that you feel sometimes where they're above the crowd. He was part of us. Right. You know, he's talking to his peers.
It felt like you were just hanging out in a room with him like we are right now.
Absolutely.
Like he's just telling you stories back in the day.
Exactly.
Like
VH1
you kind of forget that he's on stage talking to a giant theater. Like it's like, cool story. So then what happened?
Yeah.
And
that's kind of the magic of it, is that it's that inclusion thing that's always been part of his films, is that everybody feels like they're
equal
buddies with him. You know, he's not above us or below us. He's a peer.
It's cool, and the best thing I think about him in any respect is like his acceptance of any kind of sexual deviancy. He's like always curious to learn about new sex, because that's what kind of like ties us all together, because like everybody has some certain thing that gets them off about sex.
Yeah.
And he's just like, whatever it is, man, like I want to hear about it. I want to know about it. Like, especially if you read his books and hear him talk, he's like,
he's got this fascination with like what freaky
sexual
shit you're into.
Yeah. Like different like fetishes and stuff like that.
Shit,
and it's like
cool.
Fair, that's what binds us all together, because everybody wants to get off on something.
Yeah. He's got a fetish for fetish.
He's got a fetish for fetish. Exactly. Yeah.
That shit is interesting, finding out what people are into. And,
exactly. And that's what binds us all. We all get off on something.
I'm in the line
we all nasty.
George Carlin used to say back in the day, it's like, I don't care if it's you hitting each other in the head with ball peen hammers while, you're sucking off the cat. I mean, imagine how happy the cat
sucking
feels.
Off the cat.
Yeah, it's basically like if everybody's consenting.
Cats have spiky dicks.
It's not my thing. Okay. I'm just saying.
But it could be somebody's. But I still want to hear about it, whether I do it or not.
As long as everyone involved is consenting, then go for it. Do your thing.
Is the cat, though, Mike? Is the cat consenting?
The cat was apprehensive, but I think she was kind of feeling it.
Kind of getting into it, yeah.
I assume.
Well, sucking off a cat. So
what are you sucking off? We didn't clarify what you're sucking.
And an enlarged kitty clit. Yeah.
If we're involving a cat, God knows, it could be a paw thing.
But that's just
don't be presumptuous.
I think that's what unifies us all, and what kind of attracts everybody to John Waters is his acceptance of sexual deviancy. That's my theme with John Waters, is like sexual.
I mean, every one of his movies has something sexual in it.
Yeah, and it's just like he's like, whatever turns you on, let's do it. And he's like, I haven't heard of it. Let me hear about it. What do you like to do? Like slather yourself in pudding? I like it.
I like it. Tell me more.
Yeah. Or not even he likes it. He just wants to hear about
I like how you're talking about this. It's so focused on her.
She loves to slather herself in pudding.
I'm sure, but just the way
everything went to pudding.
You're so focused. Bring on the pudding.
But
Robin knows.
I think the difference is that he's not. I wouldn't say that he is a proponent of like sexual freedom in an advocate kind of way. No, it's more of just like. You like what you like. Yeah, just don't be weird about it. Like it's weirder if you're weird about it. Just own it.
Exactly.
That's
yeah,
his whole
it's
thing.
weirder if you're weird and like reserved about it.
Yeah, and
I think that's what's cool about
if
him.
somebody came out and was like, I kind of like it when I yell mommy, like then it's super weird. But it's like, yeah, I like yelling mom. Like what? And then it's fine. It's or not. I wouldn't say. Well, it depends, but like
it's fine if you like to yell mommy while you're getting banged. It's fine.
Yeah, it's everybody has their own thing, and that's what he's basically saying.
And it shouldn't be weird. It shouldn't be weird for you to say that.
Yeah.
Most likely we'll find at least one other person in life.
Yeah,
that
and
is
you can
down for the
respectfully
same
decline
thing.
as like, I would rather if you didn't call me mommy personally, but more
and
power
a dirty
to you.
shame, a
Liar.
dirty shame kind of
Such a liar.
was that message. That was the message in a dirty shame.
Yeah.
I just said the same thing twice.
That happens every time I'm on an episode, which is every episode, so you're fine.
That is true.
I do want to mention very briefly that he has lent himself to narrator work a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
That has been kind of cool. I've seen a couple documentaries that he's done. He did a documentary called The Plagues and Pleasures on the Salton Sea, which is about the Salton Sea.
Is that an actual body of water?
It's a place. It was a
sounds like a strip club.
It was a place in
No,
God,
Salton Sea, not Salty Sea.
Salton Sea. I want to say it's California. I might be wrong.
Oh, I thought you were saying Sultan.
The Sultan.
I thought you were saying like the Sultan,
not
from Aladdin.
Sultan.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Aladdin.
It's the Salton Sea.
Well,
Gotcha.
first I went to strip club, then I went to Aladdin.
Exactly.
I'm with you now.
But what it was
Caught up.
is it was kind of a cool little thing where in the I want to say the late 50s, early 60s, they basically decided to engineer a resort area where they made a lake, a saltwater lake,
Man-made lake.
They filled it up. It was I want to say it was in like Eastern California, and they sold a lot of like retail property around, or not retail,
Real estate
property around there. And they were building like hotels and stuff like that around there, and it was a man-made thing, and it was totally hot for a while, and people bought property and leased property, all that kind of stuff. However, because of its geographic location, it ended up getting sour, basically, in a sense.
Yeah, the water went bad, basically.
Water went bad
Yeah.
in the Salton Sea, and fish started dying.
I thought you said it was man-made.
It was man-made.
So how did the water go bad?
Because
They didn't make it right.
The land around
Too
it.
many people
didn't make it
peed in
right.
the pool.
basically, it was just like
A drag queen ate a shit in the middle of the water, and it just turned everything.
yeah, it was terrible.
Terrible.
And it all went
Anyway,
south.
what's up?
It all went south, and then it
Sorry.
became like a ghost town, like 30 years later.
Then it makes sense that's something he'd be interested in.
Oh yeah,
But yes.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
yes,
That's
Short-lived
so
trend
up his
that went to
alley.
shit
Yeah.
in the 50s. Yeah, that's perfect.
because
for us.
yes, exactly. Because now it's
So
deserted.
the water went bad, and then what happened?
Now it's deserted,
Ghost town.
and there's literally like 200 people that live around there, or something like that. And they did a around it, Plagues and Pleasures on the Salton Sea, and he narrated it, and it was fucking fantastic. It was really brilliant, and
10 times better with his voice telling you what's going on.
right.
That's what I'm saying.
to
Could do an
learn about
impression?
it.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I heard this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've read all his books with my eyeballs, but if you
With
listen
your
to them
eyes-
on Audible,
as opposed to like with your mouth.
Right.
Like, I read all his books with my mouth.
but if you listen to them on Audible, which
But
I am a
if that's what
big
you're
fan of
into.
Audible,
Which,
he's
by
the
the way,
narrator.
if you
His
buy-
voice is the narrator.
If you buy any books on Amazon, any Audible books, just make
whore.
sure to go through the link at GUIPodcast.com, and we actually get a pretty good stipend for any books that
I'd
you
just
buy
like to
through
high
our
five.
link.
There you go.
Including
Yeah.
subscriptions and even free
But yeah,
like
it's
trial area
it is
stuff.
most
Nice.
definitely worth it to listen to his written books with him narrating, because he narrates all of them on Audible. I think the only
Yes.
two available on Audible
Nice.
are Role Models and Car Sick, but worth listening to from his point of
Even
view.
still.
Absolutely.
The other one I would say is the world of Ted V. McKells, who was like a trash cinema like kind of god, in my opinion. He did Astro Zombies, Corpse Grinders, Doll Squad, Girl in the Gold
I know who you're
Boots.
talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
That guy-
I didn't know that. I'm not that nerdy. I didn't know who the director
He did a
was,
lot
I'm
of the
sorry.
shit in like the 60s, early 70s.
So right in John Waters' wheelhouse.
Yes. Yeah. This guy was like very much in the same wheelhouse. You know, I mean, it was
It's where
perfect.
Rob Zombie gets a lot of influence as well.
Oh,
The
sure.
Astro
Yeah.
Zombie,
Yeah,
yeah,
all
yeah.
that. Yeah,
And the
it's
Yeah, I
Misfits.
can definitely
same,
see
all
that.
that same stuff. Yeah.
Worth it.
John Waters has also done a number of cameos in movies. We mentioned
Oh, yeah.
earlier that Blood Feast 2, he was such a huge fan of Herschel Gordon Lewis. It was a major
Yep.
influence on him
Yeah.
growing up that he was actually, he had a cameo in Blood Feast 2, but he's also been in one of the Chucky movies,
Seed of Chucky.
Seed of Chucky.
God bless the little people. Yes.
And
That was the impression I was waiting for.
I saw that.
I knew
My
it.
God.
I saw that in the theater. It was so terrible. But I will tell you what.
But that scene with
But
him.
when John Waters shows up, I was beside myself with joy.
I'll give you one more.
And also, like, John Waters, what are you doing? Like,
Here.
this is.
God bless the little people.
That wasn't good.
That was. See, I built myself up too much.
I can only give you so
was
much shit because that's better by lengths on
than
what I
any
can
of
do.
your impressions.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Getting
true.
some Richard Simmons there, but maybe
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
just
getting some. I'm getting some.
I felt a
not-
little glitter afro and just.
You were sweating to the oldies
I
with
was.
that. Yeah, a
God
little bit.
damn, I was.
But also a more recent cameo was actually a music video for an SNL band.
Oh,
yeah.
the Lonely Island one. That
Yeah.
was so
Actually-
good.
Do the
Creep.
creep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the creep.
Now you want to know, and I'll segue into what's even more creepy is that for knowing what John Waters does,
That's
he
what you
did
need
it,
to put-
that was good. God damn it, that was so good. He did it. He has a cameo
It's got
in
Nicki
an
Minaj.
Alvin and the Chipmunks movie.
He
I
loves
heard-
Album and the Album and the Chipmunks.
Album in the Chick.
No, I heard that he did a
What?
cameo, but it wasn't even in the first one. It was in like one
Like
of the
third
shitty
one, yeah, the weird
sequels or
Yeah,
something.
it was.
But
it
he
was.
talks about liking them. But
No, I love Alvin and the Chipmunks, and that's very 1950s, 1960s of families sitting around listening to the newest Alvin and the Chipmunks record.
That's
which, by the
true.
way, one thing for all of our listeners, if you want to get me a birthday present, my birthday is in May. There is a Chipmunk Punk vinyl out there.
Oh,
oh,
that's
they have
true.
that at
There's-
Vinyl Conflict.
They're standing against a brick wall. Really?
Yeah, you've never.
They're
been there?
standing against like a brick wall, and Alvin's got like a safety pin on his shirt.
Yeah, they have it up on the wall.
well,
Vinyl
I've
Conflict.
wanted it for fucking years, and it's like Cars covers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like it's it's not even punk rock really. I want it so much.
it's.
He wants
see
it
that
so
here.
much.
I want it so much.
It's a good album. It's good.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
but ultimately, like we've talked about the books, we've talked about the movies, we've talked about like the schlock aspect of John Waters, but the sleaze of John Waters. You're still trying to
I
work
don't
your brain
understand
around
it.
about schlock.
Yeah, I've never heard that phrase before.
I have never heard it either. I'm just
Schlock?
Thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had never heard it.
That's amazing.
It just
to me.
stands out to me, and I was like, "What?"
That is.
That's a pretty common term.
It is not.
Well,
No.
even if you listen to any of our old episodes, schlock is used on quite
I
a
don't
few.
listen to any of your old
Well,
episodes.
that's your fucking problem. Maybe you should.
But ultimately,
you'll learn something.
Before we close out, I want to kind of talk about like the reason why we're such big fans of John Waters on a personal side, like what it was about John Waters that touched us appropriately
Do we
or
really
inappropriately.
want to talk about touching? And,
Yes,
you know,
yes, we do.
okay, okay.
Yes. So, some of the stories on how you got into John Waters in the first place, on a personal side. So, does anybody have any shares?
I have a share.
Okay.
I was sick at home at some point when I lied about being sick. And it was on VH1. It was some VH1 behind the music on Divine or VH1. It was something. It was either about John Waters or about Divine, and that's how I got into it. That's all. That's the story.
Okay. Okay.
Well, shit.
But I just, like, I've found myself really attracted to it and attracted to. Yep, that's it.
Okay. And then just kind of carried on from there and looked into the
Yeah.
other stuff. Okay. In the punk rock style, you were like, I like this. I want more of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was punk in the 90s.
So was everyone,
Yes.
except
Punks.
the Spin Doctors.
Are we going to bring that up again?
That's it.
Were you like 10 in the 90s?
You're 10 in the 90s.
Ooh, sick burn.
Oh.
Do you need aloe for that burn?
Right?
No, I was old as fuck in the
Yeah,
90s.
you were like...
Yeah.
How old are you? Fucking 80?
Yeah, I was born in the
Did you go to high
70s,
school with
bitch.
John
Yeah,
Waters?
same. Born in the 70s.
You just called me a
That's right.
bitch? This podcast about to get real.
Oh, no, don't mind him. He's got the bitch wine in him.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Bitch wine
He gets all squirrely.
No, that was a loving bitch.
Oh, okay.
Because you're cool.
I want that ringtone
Robin's
too.
sound effects are making this episode for the record.
All right, so...
But anyway,
I-
to the question.
Well, I was about to say, I've actually got a two-stepper here. Calm your shit. Calm your shit. It goes back to touch about yes, it's all about the touching. All right. First off, it relates to how we've talked about with like what happened with VHS Massacre and everything. I got into John Waters back in the time where us oldies had to go out and find the VHSs
so
back in the day.
old.
That's right.
I have rebuttal. I will
Be
hold
kind, rewind. motherfucker.
Damn right.
I remember that. I remember Blockbuster.
I know.
Oh shit. Anyway.
So does Mike. And me.
Yep, because we were managers for Blockbuster. That's how we met.
Yeah. Well, you weren't managers for Hot Topic, like how me, Emily, and Scott met.
Yeah.
Because
of
we
us
weren't
were
managers.
We weren't managers. No, we were the low rung. But that's how I got into John Waters, was back in the VHS time, you know, where you had to go search stuff. If you found that random shit, you watched it and it drew you in. Two, quick little side note again, a dedication to my wife. How she turns 30 this year, and how this person grew up in the middle of the Mojave Desert, found John Waters in California. Got to tell you something about what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that was impressive, and I
That's
fucked my
amazing.
wife after
Wait.
that, so-
Your wife turns 30?
Yes.
I thought she was 21 and a half. She's a tiny little lady.
She's from the
She's
Mojave
young.
Desert?
California City.
California City?
Yeah. That's
So
California City, California.
That's not a place.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
I actually discovered John Waters on accident. This
Much
was
like
when,
You're
your
trying to
sex
find a
life.
porn?
when I was like 13 or 14. I wanted to watch the
Chicken
newest Sylvester Stallone movie, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. And this was before
What the
there was
shit?
the internet, so I got the title wrong, and I got Serial Mom instead, because one of the words was the same. And I was like, Stallone is not in this at all, but this is fucking amazing. And
That's actually a good story.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah,
I do
I-
like that, actually.
That's a good way to stumble on that.
accidentally stumbled upon because I misremembered the title of a Stallone movie, which, by the way, I then later saw the Stallone movie,
And it's shitty.
and it's so
But then
terrible.
how did you find it?
Video store. Like I was
yeah.
looking for the new Stallone movie, and I saw Mom, and I was like, "That's the Stallone movie." And
Oh, yeah.
and I was surprised that he wasn't on the cover, but it was Kathleen Turner, who was like a
You were like,
well-known
oh,
actress.
this
I'm
is
like,
going to work out well.
probably that's probably his mom or something, whatever. And no, not in
Oh,
it.
you know what?
By the way, yeah, Stallone is not in Serial Mom. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's not actually.
Matthew Lillard, was that his first movie, though?
No.
That's right. I forgot that he was in that.
Yeah, he was the
But
brother.
no, that was not his first
I don't
movie.
think
I
it
don't
was
think.
his first, but
It was early, though.
it was early.
Okay,
Definitely.
Okay.
That was right because Scream was around that time too. I wanna
Scream
say.
came
Yeah.
out after, I want to say.
But within a year or two, it's got to be. It was right around that time.
My
Yeah.
first introduction to John Waters was an acquaintance that we had shared.
Who was it?
It was an acquaintance from back in the day,
Back in the way back.
way back,
The way
in
way
the
back.
90s.
Fine,
And
don't mention names.
my day.
and we had traded back music a bunch of times and tapes and CDs, whatever. And he gave me a VHS, which had just an insane amount of ridiculous shit on there. It was like Star Trek: The Next Generation mixed with like whatever, and then in the middle of the goddamn like VHS was Pink Flamingos, like a really fucking bad copy, and it was just mind breaking. I was like, where the fuck is this?
Yeah, because the first time you watch Pink Flamingos, you're like, David after Dentist. Is this real life?
Yeah, you're kind of like, is this a movie?
I was
Is
like,
actually,
what the
did somebody
fuck
slip
did I
their
just
personal
see?
hardcore porn into my
Yeah, right. What just fucking happened?
into my VHS rental?
I just rewatched Pink Flamingos a couple days ago to prepare for this. I hadn't seen it in probably 10 years. And even knowing what it was and all the shit I've seen since then, it still shocked me. I'm still like, oh, God, she's sucking him off right there and there. Oh, God.
Yep.
He fucked that chicken. And then there's like where John Waters like shows the like cut scenes and he's talking about it and he's like, I mean, yeah, we did that to a chicken, but we ate it later. It's not a big deal.
It's not that big a deal.
It's not like we like did something weird and then just wasted it. People eat chicken all the time.
Jesus Christ. All right, we're about out of time. So we're going to get off here. Thank you guys so much for listening to this.
Are we going to get off or get off?
Oh, we're going to get off,
I'm getting off.
after we're off.
Now that we're done
I've
talking
been off
about
this whole
fucking
time.
chickens,
I've been getting off.
I know.
Yeah, the minute you
I
brought
know
up...
you too. I don't know what you've been doing over there, but, you know. It's...
The minute you brought up fucking chickens, I'm ready to roll. But thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We do this every week. So definitely subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music. Tune in. Anywhere that you get your podcasts, you can find us. Or just, put the RSS feed on whatever app you have for podcasts. Follow us on GUIPodcast.com. Let us know what you want to hear on future episodes, what you loved about past episodes. And we love talking to our fans. So hit us up. And as always, I'm Mike the Hobbit Bickett. Join us or die.
shut the fuck up, Hobbit.
Oh, yeah, shut the fuck up.
Oh, shut the hell
That
up.
band is terrible.
Join us or die, or I will swallow your soul. Necronomicon gives us cauterized the dead. You play to take, or play begins to spread. You can fight all you want, cause you know to resist. We're here to take the world and rule with all your fists. So join us or die, or I will swallow your soul.
GUIPodcast.com